The MC only used the most basic attack, but it unexpectedly left the principal completely shocked. Because with that last sword strike, the MC had used a high-level flash step skill. But more importantly, before the MC used flash step, in the exact moment of contact with his opponent, he found his opponent's weakest point, and then attacked mercilessly. It looked like one move, but it was actually 3. A move like that, even the principal who had been on the battlefield for 15 years couldn't pull it off. The students and teachers nearby also had no idea what just happened. In the principal's eyes, they were in front of the MC, nothing more than a bunch of elementary school kids. Turns out this is a world where might makes right, where humans and demonic beasts coexist. Humanity relies on 5 basic elements: electric, flower, cloud, core, and star. Different combinations of these give rise to many different classes. In his past life, the MC was the captain of the strongest team, the Divine Legion. He led his comrades to subjugate the SSS rank Demon King, L rank Electric type Assassin, An Li, the Divine Legion's assassin, L rank Cloud type Mage, Han Shaolin, the Divine Legion's mage, L rank Star type Commander, Lucian, the Divine Legion's support, and the MC captain of the Divine Legion, L rank Core type Holy Swordsman. Oh right, and there was a traitor of the same rank. The MC had led the team for 15 years. Their mission was to serve the most powerful beings, known as God's cleaners of demonic beasts. This was their 100th time fighting a high-rank demonic beast. This mission was designated as an L-rank purge mission, and L-rank is the highest difficulty. As long as they completed this mission, they would get a long vacation. Just as the MC's finishing blow struck, the mission to eliminate the Demon King Belphegor was complete. But his teammates felt something was strange. Damn, it's over already. Guess I'll go mess with some other monsters later. This mission had the highest rating, and they even sent us the strongest team. Bai Yi, don't you think this mission was way too easy? The MC agreed with Lucian's thoughts. And according to their intel, the Demon King this time was supposed to be very special, possessing 5 elements and a hidden skill. Just then, a pair of arms wrapped around the MC. We finally get a long vacation this time. I'm planning to treat everyone to a big meal. Or should we go on a private date? The MC quickly pushed An Lei away. Let's all go together. The usual spot in the holy capital. Yeah. Couldn't score again, damn it, isn't that other guy coming? He said he's cleaning up in the back. He didn't even lift a finger when we took down Belphegor. He's always quiet, it's not like you don't know that. He rarely hangs out with us on normal days. Just a second later, a finger snap echoed from behind the MC's group. Purge mission activate. As soon as the words were spoken, a hole was blown through Han Shaolin's head. This left the MC's group completely stunned. Then the MC realized his body was paralyzed. Starting from the victory party a month ago, I've been mixing flower-type divine paralysis powder into your food. Forbidden art. Web of fate. Activate. The MC's group was immediately bound tightly. To kill all of you, the strongest team, I had to be thoroughly prepared. Even though the MC didn't want to believe it, this was his comrade of 15 years. Are you out of your mind? The man's web of fate forbidden art caused the MC's group to slowly lose consciousness, while also losing all defensive capabilities. This is the will of God. The L-rank purge mission is to purge you all. At that moment, the ropes tightened their grip. Then 2 threads attacked An Lei and Lucien. The MC could only watch as the 2 of them died right before his eyes. Huge holes appeared in both of their bodies. The MC had to know why this was happening. He roared, "Why? Why are you purging us? The Divine Legion has never crossed any lines. Which god? On what grounds would treat us like this?" This was the MC's final furious outcry. "Oh, old captain, you're still so naive. Does God need a reason to kill you?" The MC naively asked, "What about you? Aren't we comrades? We've been together for 15 years. Aren't we already like family?" The man looked at the MC like he was an idiot. "Comrades, family? Don't you get it yet? Why do you think I was the one to do this? From the moment we met, God had already set this board. You were always just pawns. To gain your trust, I had to act alongside you for so long. It makes me sick just thinking about it." And just like that, the MC died on the spot, a completely worthless death. Aside from the traitor, the MC's entire team was wiped out. Ha ha ha, finally I can get that long vacation. But the MC couldn't rest in peace. He died without knowing why. Just then a voice echoed in the MC's mind. "Hey, let's make a deal." The MC's whole body was bound tightly. "Where is this? Hey, it's me, handsome." The MC was shocked to see this person. He saw the man surrounded by 5 elements. "You're the Demon King Belphegor. You're not dead. Please, how could an SSS rank Demon King be that pathetic? This is my soul space. This entire nation, this Yi kingdom is my true life force." The MC told him to cut the crap. Get to the point. The Demon King said he could feel that the MC was filled with resentment just like him. So the Demon King wanted to make a deal. His hidden skill was time reversal. It could send the MC back to the past, giving him a chance to change everything. The Demon King smirked. So do you want it or not? The MC thought about the smiles of his comrades, slaughtered just like that by the traitor. The MC said he desperately wanted it. I have to kill that bastard. And all those high and mighty gods. Your answer is just what I expected. That's enough. Let me give you a hand. With that, the Demon King gave the MC a heart that was surrounded by 5 elements. This is my welcoming gift. The MC didn't believe in free lunches. He asked the Demon King, "What's the price?" The Demon King just gave a wicked laugh. But the MC had no other choice. Suddenly, the MC heard someone calling his name. Bye, wake up! Wake the hell up! The teacher at the front of the class was furious. The MC couldn't believe he had returned to the past, back to his junior high days. The MC looked at his callous-free hands. It was the day before his awakening. Seeing the MC still dazed, the teacher fumed. "Bye, I can overlook you slacking off in class on a normal day, but you want to sleep through your class change ceremony this afternoon. Get outside and stand in the hall now." The MC still couldn't believe his eyes. He hadn't seen these students in almost 20 years. The teacher slammed her hand on the desk. "Let's continue the lesson. Now get your heads in the game. In this world, there are a total of 5 elements, and each person's body can only contain one type of element. For example, I, your teacher, possess the rarest cloud-type element. Based on elemental power and each person's unique combination, they can be divided into 3 types: combat type, utility type, and special type. I know you want to stand out among billions of people. As someone with the potential to awaken their power, you are already miles ahead of others. You've been showered with praise since you were young. You're in the prime of your life. But today is the most important day of your lives. Before you awaken, you don't know what you'll get. But there are hundreds of classes. Classes are ranked from high to low by color: gold, red, blue, and green. And each of you only has one chance to awaken a class. Today's awakening will determine your future status. The MC walked through the school feeling a bit nostalgic. Suddenly, a student fell down next to him. It was the guy with glasses. Just a bunch of trash who had to rely on external forces to awaken. And you dare block my way? You think you're hot stuff just because you're about to awaken. Once I awaken my red quality class, you guys will forever be my underlings. This guy was the school bully Hong Chang, E-rank star-type assassin. Background unknown. 4 Eyes hastily took out some money to apologize. The MC knew this guy. In his past life, he frequently clashed with other students. It seems he has some kind of superhero gene in him. He enjoys doing bad things. Just then, the teacher appeared. "That's enough, Hong Chang. This is a school. Are you trying to rob someone?" Hong Chang laughed. "Teacher Huang, he's the one who wasn't watching where he was going and bumped into me. Compensating me and my buddies. With a cup of boba each isn't too much to ask, is it?" Then he leaned in and spoke arrogantly into her ear. "You want to stand up for this student. If it weren't for the fact that you're kinda hot, I would have had you kicked out of this school a long time ago. Believe it or not." The teacher helped the 4-eyed student up. "Are you okay?" "Haha, let's go. We'll give the teacher some face. Let's not make a big deal out of it." But a second later, he found the MC blocking his way. Then he pushed him aside with one hand. "What the hell are you looking at? Get lost." At that moment, someone waved at them. "Teacher Huang, it's your class's turn for the awakening." Awakening in this world is divided into 2 types. One is natural awakening like Hong Chang. It often occurs in people with good constitution and talent. They will awaken under certain circumstances. The other type is through the spatial awakening chamber, the culmination of countless scientists' wisdom. After entering the space, a person's emotions will be pushed to a climax and then shattered, thereby stimulating the latent awakening potential within them. And each person's awakening is random. Just then a student came out. "Haha, I awakened a blue quality class. Star rank NDT, go home and rest now." So the class change, or awakening, is considered the only chance to change one's destiny. Next is the MC. The teacher gave him some last-minute advice. "Pay attention for me. Don't be in a daze all day. You must concentrate." The MC said he already had a plan in mind. In his past life, he awakened as an E-rank core-type warrior, the lowest quality green class. Because of that, he was bullied many times. It was only after reaching S-rank that he awakened the rarest type. If the MC remembers correctly, he probably has the core-type element in his body. So what class will he awaken this time? Just a second later, the MC was stunned. Awakening system error occurred. Detecting 5 types of elements. Infinite awakening system activated. Because your body possesses 5 elemental systems, for your first class, you can choose any class. Afterward, when you've accumulated enough of each element, you can choose to obtain a new element and a corresponding class, or upgrade an existing class. The MC was completely bewildered. Wait, what does this mean? Accumulating elements also means that not only can I choose my element, and current class, but I can also get new classes later on. I can get green, blue, red, gold, at all qualities. Even that special quality class, correct. But only the initial class can be chosen. Subsequent classes will be obtained randomly. So this was the surprise the Demon King mentioned, infinite awakening ability. After choosing the first class, all elements will be cleared. The MC let out a twisted smile. But the students outside were getting impatient. What's taking him so long in there? He's finally out. The teacher immediately went over to ask, "What class did you awaken?" "Sorry to disappoint everyone. I awakened the lowest green quality core type warrior." The teacher was dumbfounded. I bet you guys watching this recap are dumbfounded too. Holy crap, being reincarnated is this lame? But the teacher still managed to smile. It's all right. Even with a green quality class, many extraordinary talents have emerged. Don't give up. This world won't let you down. Go home and get some rest. You must have used up a lot of stamina just now. But as soon as she finished speaking, a mocking laugh was heard. Ha ha ha, that's hilarious. As long as you work hard, this world won't let you down. Why are you spouting such useless words? Teacher, you know very well that reality is not like that at all. Then he walked over to the MC. Green quality means you're at the bottom of society. This world is just like that. God only chooses the strong. The weak can only be humiliated. God. That word triggered a strong reaction from the MC. The teacher asked, Hong Chang, what are you doing here? The guy acted as if he didn't hear her and continued his verbal assault. You probably know it too, MC. A green class. From now on, you can only follow orders from behind. Why is that? That's just how society is. No power, no background, no future. Forever at the bottom. Abandoned by fairness. While the strong get more and more resources, they will only get stronger. The weak, green quality from the moment of awakening, it's already destined. You can only be bottom-feeding trash. What nonsense about changing your life through hard work? A green quality becoming a genius, that kind of crap. Only you would believe it. Just like how everyone, when they're born, their future life is already decided. This Awakener school is just a miniature version of the world. Isn't that the truth? A blue quality class can only obediently stay in this school, being a worthless teacher living off the public dole. The teacher was rendered speechless. As for you, green quality, go home. Don't waste the country's resources. The MC crushed his boba cup with one hand, instantly splashing his face with milk tea. This made him furious. He even asked the MC what he was doing. And why did the MC do that? Of course, it's because he didn't like the way he talked. Hong Chang laughed angrily. He decided to use his strength to teach the MC a lesson. A huge amount of energy gathered in his hand. The teacher tried to stop him, but it was too late. He had already used Star Strike Hammer, a star-type assassin attack. Attack power increased. But the MC wasn't weak either. He condensed energy into a sword of light. With one hand, he blocked Hong Chang's punch. The guy lost his cool. He didn't expect a bottom feeder like the MC to be able to block his attack. Then the MC executed a parry attack. Hong Chang was sent flying 100 meters away, slamming hard onto the ground. A mouthful of ketchup sprayed out. The students were all shocked. What just happened? How could he do that? Hong Chang couldn't accept this reality. How is this possible? The MC put his hands in his pockets and looked at him. He chose this class himself, Core-type Warrior. It comes with a +20 to basic sword skill attacks, and +20 to evasion. He was just using it out of habit. A second later, Hong Chang got up again. Ha ha ha, you just got lucky. Managed to dodge a little. I'm a rare red quality class, completely different from a bottom feeder like you. But the teacher nearby saw that something wasn't right. That wasn't luck just now. He used the ultimate footwork technique that only a warrior class possesses a parry. After receiving the strongest attack, he instantly nullified the damage, and with an extreme reaction time of 0.09 seconds, he returned the physical damage to his opponent. This is a skill that teachers like them have to train hard for, 15 years and still can't master. On his first day of awakening, with absolutely no combat experience, how could he do it? Perhaps the teacher didn't expect that the MC had the reincarnation cheat. At this moment, Hong Chang tightened his grip on the knife in his hand. This is a star-type assassin with +30 attack and +30 speed. Are you ready to die, you piece of trash? I'm going to make you crawl on the ground in front of everyone. Hearing this, the MC was not scared at all. Choosing the seemingly weakest class, of course he had his reasons. From the moment of birth, a person's future and life and death are decided. That is a serious mistake that people only realize later. Seeing the two of them squaring off, the students all thought they were about to fight. But in school, using personal power to fight is forbidden. Moreover, with so many people here right now, they all thought the MC was crazy. You have to know Hong Chang's father is a high-ranking official. His uncle is the dean of the school. And the MC is just a poor student with no background. The kid with glasses was more worried than the MC. If he accepts such a challenge, fighting here could get him expelled from school. Teacher, what should we do? Hearing this, the teacher could only step forward assertively. Everyone just awakened today. In the future, you might be comrades fighting together. There's no need for conflict. How about we stop here? But Hong Chang didn't give her any face at all. Are you kidding me? This guy just challenged me. You're telling me to just let it go, even if he gets down on his knees and begs for mercy now? It's useless. I have to let him know. The world of difference between the chosen one and a reject. The teacher fell silent hearing that. That's right. Different qualities have such a huge difference. It's because of the different attribute bonuses. The MC's green quality gives a 100% attribute bonus, meaning no change. A blue quality class gets a 150% bonus, but red is 200%, which means Hong Chang's type at the moment of awakening. All of the red's attributes are double the green's. But this boundary on the path of power can never be crossed. The kid with glasses thought the MC was dead for sure. He could only be crushed. My brother, don't you have anything better to do than to offend someone stronger than you? These garbage people are truly hateful. But to struggle and survive in this society, the way of survival for the kid with glasses is to learn how to avoid this trash. But if you can't avoid them, then you endure it or pay your way out. In his eyes, being tough is a stupid choice, because what awaits afterward can only be greater humiliation. At this moment, Hong Chang charged forward. The teacher could only shout a warning, "Bye, ye be careful." Are you still going to try to block? But parrying consumes an immense amount of stamina. Hong Chang's attack is too strong, and his speed is fast. It's over. He can't block it this time. Hong Chang was very confident in himself. This time, let's see how you run. The MC scoffed. Run, why would I run? Activate Rush. Speed increases by 50% or more for a short time. After one flash step, current speed increases by 100%, enabling effective teleportation through obstacles. Hong Chang was stunned on the spot. When did he get behind me? Then he spat out a mouthful of black stuff. Then he collapsed on the spot. Trash should be thrown in the trash can. The students were also bewildered. Did you see what happened just now? I don't know. It looks like Hong Chang just collapsed on his own. What's going on? Did he trip and fall? The kid with glasses couldn't help but laugh. How did he fall on his own? The teacher was also confused. This time she couldn't see clearly either. More importantly, a pink-haired girl also noticed the MC. During Hong Chang's attack, he once again used the skill Rush, which is unique to the warrior class. But it was a high-level flash step form of the speed-up skill. Then what did the MC do? At that moment, what did he do to make his opponent take damage? But he easily defeated his opponent. Bai Yi. Not only has he mastered the use of the highest-level basic skills, but he can also apply them in actual combat. And in that split second, he even considered, this girl is not simple either. Her eyes are sharper than the teacher's. Yes, she is the class president Xiao Yin. The students were still gossiping. What's going on? What's wrong with Hong Chang today? His opponent didn't even make a move. How embarrassing. But breaking the rules in school, Bai Yi, what happened to you? Just then, a system sound rang out. Experience increased. Gained 50 class experience points. Element accumulated. Inflicted heavy damage on an E-rank element user. Gained 50 star element points. Just as the MC guessed, a combat class can accumulate class experience. Defeating opponents of other elements can also earn element points. But 50 points is too little. Looks like I need to farm some from demonic beasts soon. Choosing the core type warrior was for the sake of future class advancements. He will get extremely powerful skills and unique qualities from other classes. He has to level up and advance quickly. At this moment, Hong Chang slowly got up. Don't you run! I'm going to kill you right now. A voice stopped him. That's enough. The person who arrived was Hong Chang's uncle, Hong Liang, also the head of their department. Don't you know how much you've embarrassed yourself? Everyone is tired from the awakening today. Don't stand around here watching the show. It's the weekend. Go home and rest. Remember to report your awakened class to your family when you get home. The words "go home" struck the MC like a bolt of lightning. Because on the day of the awakening, something else happened. Something the MC could not ignore. Thinking of this, he ran home as fast as he could. Hong Liang, feeling disrespected, got angry. He turned and scolded Teacher Huang. Keep your students in line. Today we'll pretend nothing happened. Not long after Hong Liang took his nephew to his office. Hong Chang was not convinced. If it weren't for that kid's luck, I definitely wouldn't have lost to him. As soon as he finished, Hong Liang slammed the table and told him to shut up. Do you even know what he did when he was facing you? The moment you could have rushed in to attack it, it used a high-level flash. But more importantly, before it flashed, at the very moment you two clashed, it had already found your weak point and attacked decisively, catching you off guard. This move uses a warrior's basic skill, but even someone like me who's seen blood on the battlefield for 15 years couldn't execute it so masterfully. Your fight was like a pro player, using basic mechanics to toy with some students for fun. This kid isn't as simple as you think. Meanwhile, the protagonist was running home at top speed. If after being reborn besides getting revenge, there was one thing the protagonist absolutely had to do. It was to prevent the impending tragedy. He had to stop it even if it cost him his life. After getting home, he immediately saw his mother cooking. Having not seen his mother for over 25 years, tears streamed endlessly from the protagonist's eyes. He thought to himself, it's so good that mom is still alive. Seeing the protagonist return, his mother gestured continuously with her hands. Because his mother couldn't speak, she used hand gestures to tell the protagonist that today she'd made the spicy and numbing noodles he loved to eat. The protagonist held back his tears and forced a smile, saying he wanted to eat sweet and sour fish today. His mother signed that they could eat it tomorrow. Today she had already cooked a lot of delicious food. The protagonist immediately shook his head, insisting that he had to eat it today. Doting on her son, his mother agreed with him. She would go buy it now. But just as the protagonist was about to go out with his mother, his father watching TV in the living room suddenly spoke up. Your mother can go by herself. By the way, kid, what's up with you? Coming home without greeting your father. Isn't today the awakening day? Hurry up and tell me your good news. After speaking, the father took a bottle of liquor from the fridge, saying he got off work early to come home and celebrate with the protagonist. Hearing this, the protagonist wasn't happy at all. He lied, saying he hadn't awakened yet today, because the awakening ceremony took too long. It ended before it was his turn. Hearing that, the father's mood instantly soured. He questioned why the protagonist came home so early. Back in my day, I had nothing, but I still awakened a red tier class, so my son should at least awaken a red tier class. Working so hard to earn money now is all for your education. He had placed all his hopes on the protagonist. He seriously asked the protagonist what his class really was. In an instant, a terrifying killing intent enveloped the protagonist. But the protagonist still said he hadn't awakened. Just a second later, the bottle smashed over his head. The father's eyes immediately turned savage. So you're just a blue 6 class? Were you just pretending to be diligent at school for me all this time? And yet you awakened this trashy blue tier class? After saying that, he immediately kicked the protagonist in the face. This was all within the protagonist's expectations. In his previous life, when his father learned the protagonist had awakened a blue tier class, he felt so ashamed that he lashed out at home. His mother, in order to protect him, stood in front of the protagonist as she always did. But at that time, the protagonist was too small, too scared. His father beat his mother for an hour to vent his anger. That day, his mother's leg was broken. And because of a severe head injury, her mind became clouded ever since. The protagonist hated his own weakness, hated that he was powerless to protect his mother. Reborn in this life, he swore he would not let this tragedy repeat itself. Although, the core warrior class doesn't have the unique specialty that other classes do, it still needs a bit of time. Right now, the newly awakened protagonist is only E rank, but Bai Ling Sheng is a C rank red tier class, completely different from that Hong Chang Sheng at school. He has ample combat experience. Even if the protagonist were a gold tier class right now, he would have no chance of winning. Today, his father had been waiting for him since early on. He definitely wouldn't let it go without getting an answer. That's why he was determined not to let his mother stay home. That's why he asked his mother to go out and buy food. But unexpectedly, there was suddenly the sound of a plastic bag at the door. At this moment, his mother had returned. The protagonist was in shock. He couldn't figure out why his mother came back so early. It turned out his mother was worried he would be hungry, so she came straight home after buying the food. But she never expected that upon returning home, she would witness such a scene. And Bai Ling Sheng, seeing his wife return, immediately shifted his attention. Come look at this useless son you gave birth to. At this moment, memories from his past life flooded the protagonist's mind. I heard you're the first blue tier class ascender. Normally, a class has to be at least blue tier, a rank blue to even enter the ascension stage. Why did you ascend so early? And what's more, you went from blue 6 to platinum. 1 in a million. At this point, his master asked the protagonist why he was imprisoned here. This place is for death row inmates. The protagonist said it was because that man deserved to die. How dare he beat my mother to death like that? Thinking of this, the protagonist's gaze sharpened. He threw a punch at Bai Ling Sheng with all his might. But in the face of absolute power, the protagonist's attack posed no threat. Because a skilled awakened, even without using skills, is many times stronger than an ordinary person. An ordinary person simply couldn't withstand such a punch. But today the protagonist had to stand up. Stand up and protect his mother. But unexpectedly, his mother stood in front of him, continuously shaking her head, hoping Bai Lingsheng would stop. Seeing this, old Bai Lingsheng sighed and closed the door. Ru Yun, the day you got pregnant, I was truly happy. I thought the Bai family's chance to make a comeback had finally arrived. Those two bastards couldn't have children, but I, Bai Lingsheng, could. The Bai family can only rely on me to turn things around. But why? Did he have to awaken the trashiest class? He can't even ascend. It's all because of your trashy genes. Seeing his mother about to be hit, in a moment of crisis, the protagonist activated his flash skill, creating a sword in his hand, forcing Bai Lingsheng to take a serious step back, warning this bastard not to get near his mother. Bai Lingsheng saw this torn sleeve on his arm and let out a cold laugh. He never thought the day would come when the protagonist dared to fight back. The protagonist gripped his sword tightly, staying focused. He had to find a way to call for backup. Just then, Bai Lingsheng moved with extreme speed, charging towards the protagonist. Seeing this, the protagonist used the parry skill, wanting to reflect the damage. But unexpectedly, the sword suddenly shattered. A powerful kick landed on the protagonist's stomach. The gap in their stats was too great. A single blow left the protagonist defenseless. But Bai Lingsheng's assault didn't stop. He even used the Black Lightning skill, channeling all his offensive power and lightning into the strike. The protagonist hastily covered his head with his hands to avoid an injury that would make him lose consciousness. In an instant, a devastating blow struck the protagonist. Seeing the protagonist still trying to resist, Bai Lingsheng sneered, "Such a weak class deserves to be bullied by the strong." Then he picked up a nearby chair, swinging with all his might at the protagonist's mother. Just then a knock suddenly came from the door. Seeing this, the protagonist quickly stood up. The cavalry had finally arrived. Bai Lingsheng angrily opened the door, only to see two members of the guard team outside. The serious-looking vice captain questioned why it took so long to open the door and what he was busy doing. Seeing the visitors made Bai Lingsheng suspicious. He asked the vice captain in a mild tone why he was here. It turned out that 18 minutes ago, the protagonist had called the guard team, saying a suspicious criminal was near his neighborhood. He was sure they would come to investigate. Using this opportunity, the protagonist wanted to send Bai Lingsheng to prison. At this moment, Lin Gang took out a wanted poster. "We received a tip that a wanted criminal appeared here. We're here now to check. Have you seen this strange man?" Hearing this, Bai Lingsheng immediately said he hadn't seen him. But Lin Gang noticed the protagonist and his mother. "What happened to your son here? Why is he covered in injuries?" Hearing this, Bai Lingsheng lied, saying the protagonist was careless and fell. The protagonist immediately said, "The injuries on my body are from him hitting me. My left arm was hit with a chair, my head was smashed with a liquor bottle. This spot is from a punch. This one is from a kick. The injuries on my body, I can have them all officially examined. For the act of being unable to control one's violence, and arbitrarily beating another awakened, in the Divine Code, Article 4 on page 8 of the Awakened Management Act states that, if the assailant causes injury, they will be imprisoned for 15 days. As soon as he finished speaking, the guards were utterly astonished. Why would someone so young know so much about the law? Bai Lingsheng never expected the protagonist would dare to expose his abuse. In a fit of rage, he wanted to beat the protagonist up. Chen Jin hastily pulled him back as Lin Gang immediately announced, "First arrest him. If he dares to resist, use the Management Bureau's protocol." After Bai Lingsheng was taken away, the house suddenly became incredibly quiet. Then his mother ran over and hugged him tightly. The sound of crying rang in the protagonist's ear. Luckily, the protagonist had managed to protect his mother this time. 15 days was enough time for the protagonist to become stronger. He would absolutely not let his mother suffer any more abuse. And in this fight, the protagonist didn't get beaten for nothing. During the scuffle, the protagonist had managed to get the key from the safe. Back then, his father spared no effort to steal that item from his comrades. It allowed him to climb from a bottom of society E rank to C rank. Afterward, the protagonist went to Bai Lingsheng's room. After opening the closet, he found a safe. In his previous life, his father had always hidden this from the family. The protagonist only found out about it after his father died. With this sharp dagger, he could now easily destroy demonic beasts. Meanwhile, in the holding cell of the supervision team, Bai Lingsheng begged Lin Gang for leniency, promising he would not reoffend in the future. But Lin Gang paid him no mind at all. Bai Lingsheng continued with a smile. "I heard your wife is about to give birth. My brother opened a postpartum care center, the best one in the county center." As soon as the words left his mouth, Lin Gang warned him that he was bribing the supervision team. "If this is discovered, it won't be just a simple detention. You'd better get some rest and report to the awakened prison tomorrow." Hearing this, Bai Lingsheng was furious. He swore that when he got out of here, he would definitely beat the protagonist to a pulp. Therefore, before his father gets out of prison, the protagonist must get stronger quickly. Thus, hunting demonic beasts was the protagonist's choice. But currently, all areas occupied by demonic beasts are under the management of the authority. Not only are guild members forbidden from entering, if the protagonist wants to enter a demonic beast zone, the only ones available are those managed by the school, and a zone that the protagonist knew of from his past life. Demonic beast zones can appear anywhere. They are parallel spaces to the protagonist's world, formed by spatial gates. Most discovered zones are tightly controlled by guilds, because within those zones exist demonic beasts and magical or resources. They are the top choice for the awakened. But demonic beast zones are extremely dangerous. Teams must have government permission to enter. In his previous life, a news report 5 years later covered this demonic beast zone. Because it had been forgotten for many years, no one had found it. It was only discovered when the demon race invaded. Generally speaking, an F-rank demonic beast zone would require 3 E-rank awakened, and an E-rank zone would need 3 E-rank awakened, and 2 D-rank awakened, forming a 5-person squad. Based on the current time, this demonic beast zone is probably F-rank. This is also the lowest rank zone that the protagonist can currently access, although it's fraught with danger and requires a well-composed team to have a chance of success. The protagonist has no other choice right now. He must get stronger as fast as possible. After entering the demonic beast zone, what greeted his eyes was a world of snow, likely containing cloud elemental demonic beasts. Not far away, a large white bear was sound asleep. Nearby, there were also several skeletons. It was clear that people had entered before, but no one had escaped. The protagonist recognized this bear as an E-rank 8 demonic beast. In that case, this zone must be E-rank. Just then, a shadow flashed past behind him. Then, an E-rank 3 wolf attacked him. Luckily, the protagonist was agile enough to dodge the attack. Then he launched himself off his feet and attacked the wolf. With a single slash, he cut the blood forest wolf in 2. This dagger truly lives up to its name as an A-rank weapon. Moreover, it's not something you can buy on the market. The single attribute it provides can compensate for the protagonist's lack of combat power. But if he encounters a demonic beast with high defense, even with a precise aim, it would take 3 or 4 hits to finish it. He couldn't help but lament his days at a low rank. An E-rank class probably needs to kill 20 wolves to level up once. And to get from E-rank to D-rank requires leveling up 10 times. Just then, countless blood forest wolves were approaching the protagonist. Among them was a rank 4 blood wolf king. Perhaps the scent of blood had attracted them. The protagonist realized they intended to surround and attack him, so the protagonist jumped up high, proactively attacking the wolf pack. Although these blood forest wolves were nothing to the protagonist, their sheer numbers were a problem. He had to deal with them as quickly as possible. Furthermore, every attack had to be precise. Relying on the experience accumulated from his past life and his super high mastery of basic skills, he soon wiped out the entire pack of wolves. Now only the Blood Wolf King remained to be dealt with. The protagonist charged forward to attack with all his might, delivering countless slashes towards the wolf. The successful kill notification rang in the protagonist's ear. He also received the Snow Wolf's Fang material. He smoothly leveled up to E-rank 2 and received 12 attribute points to distribute freely. The protagonist looked at his interface. He couldn't believe he was this tired after killing just 20 wolves. The stamina of an E-rank is still too poor. I need to find a way to get a spatial backpack. Otherwise, I'll miss out on a lot of loot. And most demonic beast zones are occupied by guilds. So it's very difficult for unaffiliated awakened to level up. In order to get a chance to access high-rank demonic beast zones, joining a powerful guild is the only option. The 3 awakened academies are pawns of the guilds, used by them to select talent. Most students dream of graduating with honors and being chosen by a guild. But if you get kicked out of a guild, it means you can never hold your head high again for the rest of your life. That old Bai Ling Sheng was kicked out of his guild and was stuck at C rank forever. In comparison, the protagonist's leveling speed isn't actually fast, because the temperature here is too low. The longer he stays, the more stamina he consumes. So he can only use the fastest method to resolve this. Thinking this, the protagonist turned and ran. While running, he continuously chopped down large trees. The commotion attracted countless demonic beasts from the forest. Before long, the protagonist was surrounded by all sorts of demonic beasts. Then the sound of a rupture came from the cliff. Seeing this, the protagonist shook his head lightly. The earlier commotion was enough to wake all kinds of demonic beasts. That one must be awake too. Just then a massive foot landed, stomping on a blood forest wolf. The newcomer was the glacial bear. Its enormous size was enough to make one tremble in fear. When enraged, the glacial bear will launch various attacks. And what the protagonist needed to do was dodge while looking for an opening. The system's notifications constantly rang in the protagonist's ear. E-rank beasts, though fierce, are basically brainless. This bear not only draws aggro for the protagonist, it also helps him save half his stamina. But for the experience points to go to the protagonist, he still needs to land the final blow. But even with the glacial bear's help, the protagonist's stamina was still being stretched thin. The number of demonic beasts there was still very large, so it's time for the next step. At this moment, the demonic beasts surged towards the protagonist like a crazed wave, completely unaware of the trap hidden beneath their feet. The protagonist immediately stabbed his dagger into the ground. The ground instantly fractured like crystal. During the fight, the protagonist had been constantly observing his surroundings. This wasn't a frozen field on the surface, but an ice bridge spanning a ravine. In an instant, most of the demonic beasts fell into the cliff one after another. The protagonist instantly leveled up to 7. He also received the title 1 against 100. When facing multiple enemies, all stats increased by 10%. His remaining stamina was enough to deal with the leftover beasts. But from the beginning, the protagonist had been thinking about one problem. Every zone has a boss. The boss of an E-rank demonic beast zone should be an E-rank 10 brutal lion. The commotion earlier should have been loud enough to wake it up. Why hasn't it appeared yet? Just then, a terrifying ice magic spell suddenly descended. Seeing this, the protagonist knew something was wrong. He didn't expect to fall into a trap. The boss wasn't asleep. It was waiting for an opportunity. Waiting until everyone had exhausted their stamina to come here and reap the benefits. This ice bridge was also a trap it created. The protagonist hurriedly ran out of the spell's range. But because of the terrain very quickly, the protagonist was frozen solid. Never in a million years did he expect an intelligent boss to exist in this zone. At this moment, a D-rank 11 Kanglin Lord suddenly appeared. Next to it were 2 E-rank 10 Kanglin Demon Apes, acting as its lieutenants. The protagonist's mind was racing. How can I break out of this situation? At this time, the boss slowly raised its hand. The Kanglin Demon Apes immediately launched an attack on the protagonist. In the nick of time, the protagonist suddenly broke free from the ice, then used his parry, skill to reflect the damage back. It turns out, the protagonist had channeled all his energy to break the ice. But this also caused the protagonist to consume a great deal of stamina. If the Kanglin Lord continues to attack with powerful magic, it will definitely need some cooldown time, so the protagonist has to take it down first. But at this moment, the Kanglin Lord raised its hand high again. Then it clenched its fist. The enraged glacial bear suddenly calmed down. Its savage eyes locked onto the protagonist. He felt something was wrong. The core element is already countered by the cloud element. Plus, the protagonist's stamina is now not enough to fight those apes. It's simply impossible to deal with such a large number of demonic beasts. Just then, a Kanglin ape flashed and attacked the protagonist. Just blocking the blow was exhausting for the protagonist. In this desperate situation, forget about killing the boss. Even basic survival is hard to guarantee. At this moment, the Kanglin Lord sneered and raised its staff. The Ice Blast skill was instantly cast towards the protagonist. Seeing this, the protagonist froze. He didn't understand why its cooldown was so fast. But very quickly, the protagonist calmed down. Having lived a whole other life, he had faced all sorts of difficulties. Every time he went through a desperate situation, he could always sense an opportunity. But before him, there were only 2 options. One was to stay here and continue fighting. But with his stamina at its limit, the chance of survival was 0. Therefore, only the second option could break this deadlock. Thinking this, the protagonist jumped off the cliff without hesitation. This left the Kanglin Lord stunned. It never expected the protagonist would choose to jump off the cliff. At the same time, his mother went into his room to call the protagonist for dinner. As a result, she didn't see anyone, only a piece of paper. He told his mother that he had gone to a friend's house. He would hang out for a bit and then come home. But his mother felt something was wrong. If he went to a friend's house, he would have definitely told her. Moreover, since coming home last night, she noticed the protagonist had completely changed, giving her a sense of unease. On the other side, after jumping off the cliff, he fell into a river. When the bridge initially broke, over 100 demonic beasts had clearly fallen. But the protagonist only gained 3 levels. That means there were still 40 demonic beasts alive. Therefore, there must be a river flowing beneath the cliff. The second option was his only chance of survival. But breaking the ice again had consumed all his stamina, plus the fall from such a height meant his body had taken too much damage. The protagonist was reaching his limit. The image before his eyes gradually blurred. What was more worrying was that he hadn't completely escaped the danger. Unexpectedly, beneath the cliff there was also an E-rank 9 Ice River Tyrant. Memories flashed through his mind. The smiles of his comrades, and the image of his mother caring for him every day. With them in this life, he would have no regrets in death. but thinking of the smug smile of the Kanglin Lord, the contemptuous gaze of Bai Lingsheng, and the face of that traitor, he would not allow himself to fall just like that. The regrets of his past life. The protagonist would not let them be repeated. The protagonist has lost once and died once, so he definitely will not die again. Therefore, the protagonist, relying on sheer will, shattered the fangs of the Ice River Tyrant. Then he kicked it 100 meters away. At this moment, the protagonist's entire body emitted a golden mist. This was the desperate struggle-induced ascension, a characteristic of the class. Choosing to solo the dungeon, actively attracting demonic beasts, jumping off the cliff, he constantly put himself in desperate situations, all to find that feeling from that day again. In his previous life, when the protagonist personally took action against Bai Lingsheng, his own latent power continuously triggered his ascension, and now he wanted to find that feeling again. A system notification rang in his ear. Conditions not met, class ascension failed. Acquired high-level core swordsman skill. Seeing this, the protagonist's eyes lit up. Although it wasn't enough for a class ascension, he had obtained this high-level skill early, so now it's time to clear the obstacle before him. And just at this moment, the Ice River Tyrant roared and lunged at the protagonist. Behind it, demonic beasts swarmed like a tidal wave. He stood firm and swung his sword. The gathered aura formed a blade that wiped out all the demonic beasts. Even the E-Rank 10 Ice River Tyrant was cut in two, and this move was the highest level skill unyielding struggle. Fatigue gradually faded and his stamina was instantly restored. The protagonist's level had risen to E-Rank 8. He also received the title Glacier Wanderer, +100 resistance to cloud elemental creatures, immunity to ice elemental damage. Now it's time to go back and deal with the Kanglin Lord. On the way, the protagonist continuously killed Blood Forest Wolves, farming experience points. His level reached E-Rank 9. He could also feel that he could kill E-Rank demonic beasts with ease. Moreover, he no longer felt the cold. Unyielding struggle can store previously accumulated damage and can also release it all at once. But it can only be activated by accumulating enough fatigue and injury. Thanks to this skill, his current stamina has recovered. I don't know how long I've been in this area. I have to keep track of the time to go back. Otherwise, Mom will be worried. At the same time, the Kanglin Master was resting in a room, waiting for new challengers to appear. On both sides hung E-Rank 10 Kanglin Demon Apes. Just then, the Kanglin Master's eyes shot open. It sensed a familiar aura. Just a second later, a large hole was suddenly punched through the ceiling. Then the bear's body fell into the room. The protagonist looked down scornfully at the Kanglin Master. He wanted to finish it off as fast as possible to get home for dinner. Seeing this, the Kanglin Master smiled and pointed a finger at the protagonist. The Kanglin Demon Apes immediately rushed forward to attack, but their movements were incredibly slow in the protagonist's eyes. He raised his knife and easily blocked them. Then he counterattacked and killed one in a single blow. This counterattack left the Kanglin Master in deep shock. It didn't dare to underestimate him. It immediately brandished its staff. The crude Ice Storm skill was instantly activated. Countless ice orbs, large and small, flew towards the protagonist, but because he had received the title Icefield Wanderer, his ice resistance was very high. He charged straight at it with his knife. In a moment of danger, the Kanglin Master looked at the bag beside it. It pulled out a staff imbued with dense magical power. At the same time, it ordered all the Kanglin Demon Apes to block its path. But how could such a defense stop the protagonist? A flash skill was instantly activated, passing through all the obstacles. Next, a single slash severed the Kanglin Master's arm, but the protagonist didn't stop. Countless sun and moon slashes rained down on its body. The notification for a successful kill immediately rang in his ear. Simultaneously, his warrior core leveled up to D rank. After a series of notification sounds passed, the system announced that the Cloud Elemental System had accumulated enough power. A new profession was about to be awakened. Seeing this, the protagonist was secretly pleased. He had been so busy fighting that he had forgotten about this. He just didn't know what profession the Cloud System would awaken. But what the protagonist didn't expect was that he would awaken the red quality Cloud Magic System. Furthermore, he could switch professions at any time. Although it was only E rank, its red quality already gave it a 200% bonus. Its strength was on par with his current D rank warrior class. Next, he looked down at his feet. The Kanglin Master had dropped a D-rank mage weapon, the Magic Stone, and a D-rank bag that could hold 20 items. The protagonist immediately picked up the items. A hint of killing intent appeared in his eyes. He immediately switched to the Cloud Mage class. The remaining small fry were perfect for him to test his mage powers. At this moment, the protagonist's mother was waiting at home. Not seeing her son for a day, her mood turned gloomy. She was extremely worried that her son was in danger. Just then, the protagonist opened the door and walked in. "I'm sorry, Mom, I made you wait." Seeing her son return, she immediately stood up and rushed to hug the protagonist tightly. The anxiety in her heart gradually faded away. Tears streamed down her face. The protagonist saw that the food on the table was cold. He knew that his mother had been waiting for him all this time, not even eating a single bite of food. As her son, he felt very guilty. He decided to leave this place with his mother, to change their environment and start a new life. At that time, the protagonist used the magic bag. Besides storing weapons, he also stored the more than 10 valuable diamonds he had obtained. Afterward, he contacted a broker to sell them all. The broker was pleased when he saw the magic ores. He agreed to buy them all for 800. Hearing this, the protagonist took back all the magic ores. 8,000 apiece or get lost. After some haggling, the protagonist sold them for 7,000 each. With this money, he could rent a nice house for his mother. He imagined how astonished she would be when they moved into a new house. He just wanted to be able to give her a peaceful life in this lifetime. After securing the house, the manager turned, shook his hand, and praised him endlessly. Big Bro protagonist is truly a straightforward and decisive man. 8:00 p.m. Sunday, May 24, 2105, in the rented house. Watching his mother happily cooking in the kitchen, the protagonist smiled happily. He went into his room and started thinking about his other problems. Thinking of Bai Shengling still in prison, he told himself he couldn't let his guard down. Until this matter is completely resolved, I can't take revenge recklessly. Looking at the bracelet he had just made, which could increase elemental and spiritual power, he thought to himself, I have to go back to school tomorrow. Now I can go look for that thing. 8:00 p.m. Sunday, May 24, 2105, elsewhere. A group of adventurers was slowly emerging from a spatial gate. A guard looked at Hong Chang and flattered him. Young master has improved quite a bit again. Seeing his tired expression, his younger sister brought him a bottle of water, advising him to rest for a bit. Even though she was his sister, he ruthlessly knocked the water bottle from her hand, shouting, while there's still time, let's go to the next demon den, let's train some more. A system notification rang out, announcing he had reached E rank 3, which made him even more arrogant. Cut to a certain room. A woman was standing thoughtfully by a glass window, looking at the paper in her hand. She whispered softly, the new batch of awakeners. This time, no one has a golden profession. It seems this simulation test has nothing to look forward to. In the rented house, the dining table was now filled with a hearty breakfast. His mother sat in a chair, smiling happily. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, the protagonist was frantically eating the food she had prepared, asking why she didn't wake him up. She replied with body language, I saw you were sleeping so soundly. I really didn't have the heart to wake you. Eat slowly, it's okay to be late once in a while. As she spoke, she gently stroked the protagonist's head. The protagonist felt the warmth emanating from her hand. He also smiled happily. Suddenly, she grabbed his shoulder tightly. This stunned the protagonist, who quickly asked, What's wrong, Mom? She made a gesture asking if he wanted anything. Seeing this, he laughed and replied, Mom, you suddenly want to give me a gift. What's this for? She pointed to the calendar indicating that next Friday was his birthday. Seeing that he was stunned to realize that June 5th was his birthday. Remembering that no one gave him gifts in his previous life, he had gradually forgotten his own birthday. He asked himself what he wanted. He took a bite of a steamed bun, wondering what he desired most. Looking at his mother's bright, happy smile, he thought to himself, I've already obtained what I desire most. Then he lowered his head, his eyes revealing a vicious look. Next, I have to complete my next goal. Kill him. Cutscene Awakener Affiliated High School. The instructor's voice rang out. All right, little chicks. I'm sure everyone got enough rest last weekend, right? Next, it's time to enter the hellish training phase, the combat simulation. I'm sure no one is unaware of the importance of the combat simulation, right? Our Awakener Affiliated High School is the high school division directly under the Gods Guild. The guild will always be watching our every move, and the combat simulation is the first stage for everyone to show off. This battle will be considered your middle school graduation exam, and the entire process will be broadcast live. More importantly, the person with the most outstanding performance in this combat simulation will have the opportunity to join the high school section on the pilgrimage journey. A pilgrimage journey is the most direct opportunity to interact with the Gods Guild. It only happens once a year. The school will organize for the most outstanding students from both middle and high school to go to the Holy River Nation together, the headquarters of the Gods Guild. The protagonist stood in the 5th row, suddenly whispering the name Holy River Nation. That was where he had met his master, and where he was born. In the protagonist's mind, he couldn't help but see the image of the man in the mask. But they had no relationship. He had only joined the Gods Legion after him. The protagonist's eyes grew heavy as he planned to find him. Everyone around him became extremely excited, but it was accompanied by fear of having to enter the demon den alone. Suddenly, the instructor pointed to the door in front. Training begins. The first stage is physical training. The kid standing in front of the protagonist was extremely excited. He cheered, "I'm going to do 20 reps." At this moment, the protagonist's eyes glinted with determination. He noticed a teacher who was giving instructions. "Everyone line up." And then he walked forward and said to the teacher in a serious tone, "I don't want to use this training room." The situation immediately attracted the attention of the other students. Seeing how brave he was, everyone was stunned. The teacher turned to look at him with unfriendly eyes, his voice tinged with anger. "Bai Yi, I've heard about your conflict with Hong Chang, but don't think that beating a red class profession makes you so great that you don't need to train." Ignoring the teacher's words, the protagonist stated his desire to participate in intensive training. Hearing this, the teacher was a little surprised. But right after, he asked him with a scornful look, "Do you feel there's a problem with the current training method? Physical ability training?" Before he could finish, the protagonist cut in to explain, "Physical ability is necessary for all awakeners, so going to the gravity room is not wrong. However, not all awakeners need it. Like mages or chanters, it would be more suitable to go to the elemental room to train in controlling elemental power. Even depending on each person's attributes and habits, the level of training should also vary." As he finished speaking, the teacher's face completely darkened. His tone was full of threat. "Are you trying to teach a teacher how to do his job?" At this moment in the queue, Qi Yin was staring at him thoughtfully. "The training method he mentioned is exactly what Instructor Dong Yang of the Gods Legion once said. But recently, Mr. Dong Yang just proposed this method. I only knew about it because of the recording my dad brought home. I can't believe Bai Yi could think the same way as that master." The kid with glasses then whispered a reminder to him, "Bai Yi, you have to consider the teacher's pride. He's the most authoritative training instructor in our school." As soon as he finished, the teacher patted the protagonist's shoulder, making the kid with glasses jump in fright. "Bai Yi, your training method sounds very interesting. It's my fault for not thinking it through. But in a short time, arranging it according to each person's specifics will be very difficult. To be frank, the combat simulation is just a performance, a graduation show for middle school students. If something goes wrong, it could ruin a student's entire life. As a teacher, choosing the future for students, or letting students choose their own future, is also a difficult problem." Feeling the sincerity coming from the teacher's heart, the protagonist couldn't help but remember his past life. Thanks to meeting many dedicated teachers, he was able to grow up without going astray. With that thought, he looked at the teacher with determined eyes. "Please believe in me." Although the protagonist's idea sounded feasible, the teacher still decided to ask him clearly first. "How do you want to train?" The protagonist immediately replied, "Can you adjust the elemental room and the elemental neutralization to the maximum level?" After saying that, he pointed to a room. Hearing this, the teacher froze, not knowing what he meant. The other students also looked at him blankly. The protagonist scratched his head, looking troubled, and replied, "Although I'm a warrior, I want my abilities to be a bit more balanced. Challenge my weaknesses." At the same time, he told himself that he couldn't tell everyone that he wanted to train his mage profession as well. At this moment, Qi Yin also stepped forward to volunteer, saying she also wanted to train her control of elemental power. Seeing the two so determined, the teacher had no choice but to reluctantly agree. Afterward, the two of them went to the elemental room together. Qi Yin first offered to spar, but the protagonist immediately refused. Even so, she had no intention of giving up. On the contrary, he had successfully provoked her will to fight. Watching the two leave, the kid with glasses said dejectedly, "Anyway, I'm just a background character. Can I find somewhere to slack off for a bit?" The teacher lightly patted his shoulder. He replied bluntly, "No." At this moment in the elemental room, the elemental neutralization was at 10%. The protagonist told himself that he needed to quickly master the mage profession over time. The elemental neutralization in the room had reached 30%. His eyes were determined. He planned to hide from everyone the fact that he had awakened another profession. Because this school was under the control of the Gods Guild, every move was known to them. If he was exposed too early, he would very likely become a target for that group. As for the other students in this school, it was best not to develop any relationships with them. At this time, in another elemental room, the elemental neutralization in this room was at 1%. Qi Yin's eyes were determined. "Bai Yi, I can't fall behind you. After school." The protagonist slowly walked his bicycle towards the school gate. At this moment, the kid with glasses and the freckled kid had caught up, trailing him. Seeing the two reminded him of his past life. They were his middle school allies in his past life. Since they were all at the bottom of the class and bullied, they would gather together after school. Those were the only happy moments during his middle school years. But in this life, his goal was revenge. Useless friendships would only slow him down. His classmate with glasses watched him quickly ride away. The freckled kid said, confused. That Bai Yi guy ran off by himself again. We were supposed to be the most pathetic trio. Beside him, the kid with glasses felt a little insecure and said, don't you feel like he's gotten stronger? Last time after he awakened, it seems he suddenly became very confident. Why would someone with a bicycle want someone who walks? Just at this moment, the protagonist suddenly turned back and called out to the kid with glasses. He kindly reminded him to definitely get his lungs checked. Hearing this, the kid with glasses was a bit stunned. The freckled kid next to him thought the protagonist had purposely waited for them to go home together. His enthusiasm was met with a blunt refusal from him. It made him furious. The freckled kid said angrily that he would definitely catch up to the protagonist. While he was all fired up, the kid with glasses suddenly asked, didn't you only do 6 sets? Having hit a nerve, the freckled kid immediately retorted, like you did any more than me. The protagonist suddenly remembered the past life of the kid with glasses. Even if they weren't friends in this life, he still hoped he would be safe. The other 2 kids were still complaining about his sudden change. However, the kid with glasses still had a feeling that he was still the same person. Holy River Nation rookie training area on the coast. A middle-aged man was leisurely sitting on a chair sunbathing. He asked about the outstanding performance of the rookies who had just joined the Gods Guild. So this is the kid who's breaking every record in every category, huh? Standing behind him, a young man with dreadlocks said, you're too kind, Mr. Dongyang. I've come to introduce myself. Cut scene 5:25 p.m. Monday. At the dinner table, the protagonist suddenly remembered something. He quickly reminded his mother, from now on, try not to go out alone. I'll be home early in the evening and bring back takeout. Even after saying that, he still felt it wasn't enough. His eyes were determined as he told himself, I have to try to find a living environment for Mom that is safer and more stable. Cut scene at the Awakener's prison. The prisoners were standing in line to get their food. When it was Bai Shengling's turn to get food, he gave a slight nod to the person serving the food, while holding a bill between his 2 fingers. Once the food was served, the server, while scooping the food, quickly took the bill from his hand. Bai Shengling smiled at the server. I'll have to rely on you for that matter. The server smiled back at him. Don't worry, it's almost arranged. You can get out tomorrow. Tuesday in the schoolyard, the protagonist thought to himself, these past few days I've mastered the basic mage operations. The key is calculating the release time and elemental power. In another room, the freckled kid was training under the teacher's guidance. His eyes were full of fighting spirit. I ran 10 laps today. Wednesday in the schoolyard. The kid with glasses was leaning against the wall, panting. He lowered his head to the ground, his expression weary and dejected. At this moment, the protagonist had finished his training and walked out of the room. Outside, the kid with glasses and the freckled kid were already waiting. They happily invited him to eat with them, but he refused without hesitation. Watching him leave, the 2 couldn't hide their disappointment. But then the protagonist suddenly said, your marksman skill activation time is too long. You need to practice your hand-lifting motion more. Hearing this, the freckled kid was immediately filled with fighting spirit. And the kid with glasses also smiled happily. Thursday after school in the nurse's office. The kid with glasses was sitting opposite a doctor, waiting for his instructions. The doctor looked at the x-ray and said, luckily, you got it checked early. This type of parasitic tumor in the lungs, once it starts growing, it grows very quickly. You'll need to go to a major hospital for surgery soon. Once the tumor is removed, you'll be fine. The kid with glasses replied listlessly, thank you, doctor. I'll go next week. At the same time, he remembered the protagonist's advice and was a little surprised. If it weren't for the school's health checkup, I wouldn't have deliberately gone for a CT scan of my lungs. How did he know there was a problem with my lungs? Bai Yi, what happened to you? After the checkup, he slowly walked away. At this moment, he suddenly overheard a conversation from a group of people. Hey, did you know that punk Cheng Sheng cheated again? He's already leveled up to E rank 4. He's definitely going to be number 1 in this assessment. The person in the wheelchair heard this and was surprised. How did he do that? Don't you need to enter a demon den to level up? The one who started the topic replied, don't you know his family has their own private demon den? Oh yeah, remember that guy who challenged him last weekend? After school today, he's going to find that guy to teach him a lesson. Another person replied, I knew it with his personality. How could he take a loss like that without doing anything? This time he's going to drag that guy outside of school. He's probably planning to be ruthless. Hearing this, the kid with glasses looked horrified and ran to warn the protagonist. The kid with glasses rushed to warn the protagonist. On the way to find him, he couldn't stop worrying that Hong Chang would plot to ambush the protagonist, even calling a group of people to bully him. But then he froze, remembering something. His steps slowed and then stopped. He asked himself, what can I do to help? I'm just a blue-class chanter. I don't even have an attack skill. Maybe the protagonist can handle him on his own. Then he slowly backed away, telling himself he didn't need to get involved with that Hong guy. He muttered, "Anyway, when you encounter trash, you should avoid it. That's my principle." Thinking of this, the kid with glasses stopped in front of a locked door. Then the lock on the door shattered. With firm resolve, he threw the door open, comforting himself that the protagonist had saved him. He gave me my life. So even if I die, I have to go save my bro. With that thought, he no longer hesitated and went to the weapons storage, choosing an axe. Clutching the axe in his hand, his eyes showed absolute determination. "Bai Yi, wait for me." At this moment, a voice came from behind him, making him jump in shock. "Why are you trying to break into the weapons room?" He slowly turned his head to see who it was. Then Chi Yin walked in, looking at him curiously and asking, "What's with the rush?" Because the situation was urgent. He had no intention of hiding the fact that he was going to help the protagonist. Hearing what he said, her face also showed a worried expression. Cutscene at this moment. The protagonist was leisurely walking with his bicycle, slowly entering an alley. He said in a low voice, "Come on out. You've been following me since I left school. What do you want?" As he finished speaking, the follower stepped out. It was Hong Chang. He let out a cold snort, revealing his aura. He said in a deep voice, "Of course I came to settle the score with you." The protagonist turned to face him and asked confidently, "Do you think you can beat me now?" Without another word, he immediately charged with the sword in his hand, towards the protagonist, replying, "Do you think I came unprepared this time?" After that, he used the backstab skill to ambush the protagonist. Thanks to his quick reflexes, he immediately summoned his dagger. A quick slash was unleashed, to Hong Changsheng's astonishment. Feeling the pain from the slash, he wondered in fear, how does his attack have more killing power than mine? At this moment, the protagonist turned and glanced at him, his eyes filled with killing intent. "Did you think that? You were the only one who leveled up." As he finished speaking, the protagonist turned his dagger downwards, preparing for a stab. Hong Changsheng's face turned pale. Then he fearfully glanced at the dagger that had been plunged right next to his head. Feeling the aura emanating from the protagonist's body, he finally realized that he was someone he could never surpass in his entire life. At this moment, in Hong Changsheng's eyes, the protagonist was like a giant, emitting a divine aura, while he was just a tiny mortal, powerless against him. Even though he was terrified, he couldn't help but ask curiously, "You've leveled up too? How far did you get? How did you do it?" Why, remembering how hard he had trained, he couldn't contain his anger. He screamed continuously in disbelief, faced with his outburst. The protagonist just listened quietly for a while. Then in a mocking tone he asked, "Risking your life?" With that he pulled the dagger that was stuck in the ground, and then pointed it at Hong Changsheng's neck. His eyes radiating killing intent, he asked, "Have you ever died?" Unable to hold it in any longer, he shouted angrily, "I've fallen into your hands now. Kill me or torture me, do as you please. You've disliked me for a long time, haven't you?" He put the dagger over his shoulder and replied nonchalantly, "It's not that bad. You followed me all this way, but you didn't choose to ambush me. You didn't call for backup either, you just came alone. Actually, you just wanted to find me to test your own strength. Right." Seeing that the protagonist had no intention of harming him, he really exploded this time. "Cut the crap! Either kill me today, or wait for the day I kill you. Don't talk to me like you've seen right through me." Faced with his current rage, the protagonist turned his face away and corrected himself. "I take back what I said about not hating you that much." Not far away, the kid with glasses and Chi Yin were secretly watching the two. Watching the protagonist pin Hong Changsheng to the ground, the two wondered what they should do. At this moment, the protagonist extended his hand towards Hong Changsheng and said, "Let's make a deal. I can tell you how to get stronger quickly, but you have to give me something in return." Friday, May 29th, Assessment Day. On the podium, the teacher began his speech. "The week-long training has ended. The combat simulation is about to begin. Before we proceed, I want to emphasize one more thing to you all, which is, this is a simulation, but we will still be entering a real demonic dungeon. Although most of the dungeon's power has been sealed, by a barrier it remains just as dangerous. Many demonic beasts exist within the dungeon, so please remember to act within your limits. To ensure your safety, we have also assigned outstanding senior students from the high school to guide you. Normally, they will not assist in combat, but they will intervene or interrupt if you are in danger. We will form teams of 4 to 5 people, led by one senior, with 3 to 4 students entering the instance. Furthermore, you can choose between F-rank or E-rank instances. Of course, E-rank instances are very difficult, so if you don't have enough strength, I suggest you don't attempt the challenge. Failing the final challenge can result in losing course credits. Now let's begin selecting your dungeon difficulty. After all, students have chosen their difficulty. We will assign teams based on your rank. For now, those who choose an E-rank dungeon, raise your hands. As he finished, Chi Yin and a few other students confident in their abilities all raised their hands. Hong Chang also raised his hand to join. Watching the confident students raise their hands, the kid with glasses whispered to the kid with freckles. "They're really confident, huh? Daring to challenge a dangerous E-rank instance like that?" The kid with freckles, though a bit nervous, still talked tough. "If I wasn't a green quality class, I would too." After a quick count, the teacher announced, "All right, out of 180 students, a total of 8 have chosen to enter the E-rank dungeon." Hearing the announcement, Chi Yin was a bit surprised, because the MC hadn't chosen the E-rank instance. The teacher continued, "The rest of you will be randomly assigned to an F-rank dungeon." Just then a hand shot up. "Wait, teacher!" The MC spoke with a confident expression. "I want to challenge the D-rank Spirit King dungeon." Seeing a new student suddenly demand to challenge a D-rank dungeon, the teacher's face went blank with confusion. The other students' jaws dropped in astonishment. They all looked at him. In contrast to everyone else, Hong Chang's face was dark and grim, his thoughts unreadable. After snapping out of it, the teacher immediately tried to persuade him not to be so reckless, but before he could finish, a voice cut him off. "Absolutely not." The sudden voice drew everyone's attention. Hong Lang looked at him with a stern gaze and said, "A D-rank dungeon is too dangerous. Only those at D3 rank or higher are allowed to enter." Completely unfazed by his authority, the MC immediately retorted that the rule for the simulation is that you can choose your own difficulty level. The school's purpose is to find outstanding talent for God's Guild, and the criteria for outstanding talent are courage, strength, responsibility, and innate ability. "Are you, Dean, planning to take away my chance to prove myself?" Although his words were logical, the Dean still disagreed. Because dungeons require a team to enter, he immediately replied that he could go alone. Seeing the MC constantly refuting his words, the Dean grew impatient. He frowned and stated firmly, "This is a school rule. To ensure the students' safety, no one is allowed to enter alone." Just then, Chi Yin raised her hand and volunteered, "I also choose D rank." Seeing that it was Chi Yin, Hong Liang was a bit stunned. Then he became a bit flustered and tried to persuade her. "If you get hurt, how am I supposed to explain it to your father?" She replied, "I also want to get the highest score. And besides, I want to try." After speaking, she turned and winked at the MC. He just coldly declared, "I want to go alone." Chi Yin turned to him, reacting fiercely. "Why did you refuse?" The teacher approached the two and explained, "His refusal is invalid anyway." Hong Lang, annoyed, turned to mock them. "You two have barely awakened and your wings have already hardened. Is that it?" Seeing things were getting awkward, the guide teacher also looked worried. "No senior is willing to take the risk of leading you two." As he spoke, a hand went up. "I'll go." Ziling confidently stated he could ensure their safety. The teacher was slightly surprised, but quickly felt more at ease with him there. Chi Yin recognized the one in charge of them immediately. "I think he's about to join the Ultimate Guild." Seeing this, the MC turned to size up the person before him, then concluded with a bold statement, "Never heard of it." Elsewhere, Ziling was quite curious about the two newbies in front of him. "So eager to prove yourselves that you don't even think about yourselves, huh?" Suddenly, the teacher pointed straight at the portal and commanded, "The test officially begins. Their entire progress will be recorded by a broadcasting device and streamed live." At the teacher's words, everyone became more determined and excited than ever. The MC was pensive. He clearly had a plan that no one expected. Portals appeared all around the school. It truly lives up to its name, a school built on top of a massive demonic dungeon. Groups began entering their chosen portals. The dungeons ranged from common to basic levels, perfect for student training. The expressions on the younger kids' faces were filled with terror. One small mistake and they could meet their maker. Immediately, the MC's team of 3 also prepared to enter. He calculated inwardly, "I need to control myself, to prepare for the threats ahead. I'm not sure if this place has what I need." Scene change. Inside the portal, there were plants, as tall as half a person everywhere. Ziling was chattering on, bragging about his abilities. Chi Yin immediately felt a sense of admiration. She was worried about the power of the D-rank dungeon's beasts. He turned to comfort her. "Most of the beasts are sealed, so it's unlikely a D-rank monster will appear, let alone a boss." In the end, he still gave a kind warning. "But don't underestimate high-level E-rank monsters. Their attack power and speed can sometimes be extremely high. For newly awakened kids, facing them is like throwing an egg at a rock." Seeing Ziling running his mouth, the MC didn't want to get involved. He coldly stepped aside. Ziling suddenly noticed something strange. He quickly turned to warn him. "If you walk ahead like that, you might startle the Mon." The MC coldly cut him off. "You talk too much." He turned back and shot him a death glare, his whole body radiating a murderous aura. "It's none of your business." His whole body trembled with anger. Hearing the MC, Chi Yin's jaw dropped. In another corner, all their actions were being recorded by the camera and monitored. Everything was being shown on a large screen where all the students could watch. Even in the teacher's room, a similar monitoring screen was displayed. At the Ultimate Guild, the vice captain of the Ultimate Guild was leaning against a door. He stared intently at his phone screen, his voice full of excitement. The live stream is pretty interesting this time. There's a student who chose a D-rank instance. Across from him, a girl became interested in his story. "What class?" He replied excitedly. "It's someone with the green quality warrior class, the most useless one." Her voice was lazy as she replied, "Well then I'd like to see where he gets his courage." Meanwhile on Bai Yi's team, the kid with glasses was in a complete panic, terrified. He yelled at the monsters in front of him, "Don't you come over here!" To him, this F-rank dungeon, with monsters not even at level 1, was already terrifying, enough to scare the soul out of his body. The black-haired girl standing next to him reassured him, "You're a caster. Just stand in the back and buff them. You don't need to worry so much." To him, F-rank was already something horrifying. How can an F-rank dungeon be this scary? Not only that, but there were also dungeons of other levels here, like Sharp Fang or Star Leopard, level 2 inside the sealed E-rank dungeon. The people fighting here, if not covered in injuries, were completely exhausted, collapsing in defeat. Hong Chang saw this scene feeling both helpless and annoyed. In that case, he decided to go all in one man against the horde of demonic beasts. Hong's current stats are strength plus 32%, critical hit plus 20%, and lifesteal plus 15%. He threw himself into the swarm of monsters, gritting his teeth and vowing to surpass Bai Yi. Speaking of the MC, he was currently fighting monsters inside the sealed D-rank dungeon. With just a few light magic slashes, Bai Yi easily took down a level 6 E-rank raging main and successfully gained 30 experience points. Just like that, all the other monsters were taken down by Bai Yi, one after another. Qi Yin and Ziling, witnessing this, couldn't believe their eyes. They were both admiring and astounded. Bai Yi said that the monsters here were sealed, so their strength was halved, making them not too difficult to handle. Even so for Qi Yin, Bai Yi taking down so many monsters by himself was very admirable. She felt she still needed to work much harder to keep up with him. Seeing Qi Yin's lack of confidence, Bai Yi comforted her, saying she should just be herself and not compare herself to anyone. His cool tone and handsome face as he spoke forget Qi Yin. Any girl who saw and heard him would fall head over heels. The senior Ziling, seeing the handsome, cool look on Bai Yi's face, immediately felt jealous. Annoyed, he said with a judgmental expression, "This is a D-rank instance. It's best not to be arrogant and let your guard down." Ziling just kept following behind, talking big and showing off. But Bai Yi hadn't given a damn about him from the start, so he didn't bother listening to his bullshit. He ignored Ziling and signaled for Qi Yin to go right to deal with the monsters, while he went left, getting the cold shoulder like that. Ziling was both embarrassed and angry. He felt that this brat before him had no respect whatsoever for his senior, Bai Yi. Meanwhile, was still engrossed in boosting Qi Yin's morale. He explained, "This simulation combat part is meant to test everyone's perception. You should at least try to get a decent score." Encouraged by the handsome guy, Qi Yin's face lit up full of confidence. The three of them continued toward the next area. Ziling followed behind, his face scrunched up in annoyance. He was feeling extremely salty toward Bai Yi. "If you won't accept a toast, you'll be forced to drink a forfeit." With that thought, he reached his hand behind his back and magically created a glowing bow. A small figure stood amidst the battlefield, the cold light of a sword shimmering in his hand, still carrying the aura of battle. "It's terrifying, Bai Yi. He actually managed to kill that many E-rank monsters." The crowd murmured amongst themselves. What level is he now? The report still says E1, but the specifics are still unclear. E3. He might even be E4. The MC with a determined gaze stood in the middle of the battlefield, surrounded by spiderwebs and a swarm of giant spiders with glowing red eyes. But instead of fear, he looked as calm as if he had predicted everything. Not only that, he also chose the monsters on the left and told Qi Yin to go to the right. The men crossed their arms, thinking deeply. They admitted that the young man was not only strong, but also had strategic vision and analytical skills that were superior. Because he had observed the relationship of counters between the elements, so he had the flower-type Qi Yin deal with the star-type monsters. Although I know this is a test of individual ability, he also knows how to distinguish and assign roles most effectively. It seems his practical ability and overall view are quite good, huh? The MC looked at the teacher with a confident expression. "Teacher, please trust me during this graduation performance. I won't let you down." A man in a black hat and a zipped-up jacket, his face exuding confidence mixed with a bit of sternness, his sharp eyes, as if assessing and waiting for something interesting to happen. Turns out this kid isn't just bluffing. Next, let's see what else he can do. The MC's eyes showed a hint of sadness. He swung his sword, slashing at the giant monster. Chi Yin was observing and flipping through her book. While I was observing, most of the satellite beasts appeared from the desolate cave on the right. Not only are they low level, but they're also countered by her flower element. Suddenly, a giant monster appeared behind her. It was black with 2 pairs of fierce purple eyes. Chi Yin shouted. Vine wall vines shot out and latched onto the monster. Her expression became tense as she shouted again. Sprout entanglement. The sprouts tightened, preventing it from struggling and exhausting it. Poison effect applied. Chi Yin stood still, continuously flipping through her book. Successfully killed the star worm. Level 6 E rank. Received 35 experience. She happily thought, I did it again. The MC watched from a distance as Chi Yin celebrated, dancing around. As a mage at E rank, she should grasp the basic skills of her class, of her own class. Her skill is to use plants, to create a poisonous wall. Flower-type mage skill, Vine Wall, uses fast-growing plants to sprout vines that form a wall. The thorns on the vines have a certain poisoning effect. Chi Yin was overjoyed. It was her first time in a dungeon, yet she was able to calmly deal with monsters of a higher level than herself, and she even thought of using a surrounding wall and shrinking the area to kill the monsters. She truly has a talent for it. The MC created a magic circle. All the D-rank monsters are sealed right now. She can handle this group, but she's still casting spells, so for now, even with the live device, I can hide my own strength and get a high score. The MC stared wide-eyed, silently pondering. But I must remember the live device is still on, and they can also see the next step. How do I plan this out? He frowned in thought. Haha, you think you're so capable, huh? Completely ignoring your senior. If you guys can rely entirely on yourselves. An arrow was drawn from afar, aimed at Chi Yin's back. The man laughed with a sinister smile. Then try this. The arrow flew past Chi Yin, startling her slightly. He slowly approached with an innocent expression. Haha, I was just trying to help you. Why did you dodge? A strange noise came from the dark corner. A monster charged out at extreme speed. 2-headed lion, level 11 D rank. The MC heard the noise and instinctively looked back. The monster lunged, bursting into flames. Chi Yin tense held out her hand and commanded, sever the flames. The sprouts were immediately incinerated. The monster bared its sharp teeth at Chi Yin. She panicked. I'm screwed. He laughed loudly. Ha! Something flew by at lightning speed. Rush. Speed increases significantly for a short time, over 50%. The standard increase is related to reaction level and proficiency. The MC lunged forward, slashing at the monster with his sword. He looked back toward the distance. One of the monsters was charging towards Chi Yin, making her face turn pale with fear. The MC quickly dashed in front of her, using his blade to slash at the monster's head. Flash step. When speed increases by 100%, an instant teleportation effect can be triggered, passing through obstacles in front. The monster was injured on one side of its head but was still aggressive. The MC held his knife steady, pointing it forward. Wondering to himself, how is this monster's speed so fast? The man laughed with a contemptuous tone. Haha, I'm taking a big risk with this dungeon. Although most D-rank monsters are sealed, there's only one 2-headed lion in this dungeon that's bugged, constantly getting a new buff. The 2 monsters roared fiercely. No matter how arrogant you are, you're just newly awakened rookies. How could you possibly deal with a D-rank monster, especially since I've buffed it with a skill boost? Arrow of Light State. Gravity is reduced 10 times damage and speed are significantly increased. This is the fastest 2-headed lion. It slowly advanced towards the MC. Frenzy attack plus from 10%. Speed plus 50%. The MC worried, do I have to use my full strength? He held his hand out in front and ordered, fall back. This monster, you can't handle it right now. Damn it, I was just being a coward. The 2 monsters charged towards them. Chi Yin threw her book forward and shouted, Vine Wall. The plant fibers immediately grew and wrapped around the monster. She grabbed the book and continued to command another layer. The sprouts wrapped tightly around the monster. Chi Yin continued, 3 layers of Vine Wall. The MC was a little surprised. Huh? Chi Yin suggested, can you let me fight too? I won't hold you back. Even if it's D rank, I want to face it together. The man watching from afar was annoyed. Is this girl's brain broken? She was almost eaten by the lion just now. The MC replied, I thought you'd be scared stiff. You got your nerve back pretty quick. Chi Yin was confident. Of course, I've worked this hard. I can't lose in a place like this. The MC silently praised her. I thought you would be scared stiff, but you adapted surprisingly quickly. Hearing him say that, Chi Yin became determined. Of course, I've worked so hard, so I can't fail in a place like this. Chi Qi Yin tilted her head slightly, her tone full of absolute trust. Besides, with you here, I know I can't die. Bai Yi raised his sword defensively, his gaze suddenly hardening. You just used 3 levels of your skill at once. But your elemental power is limited, so you can't afford to waste any more. She clenched her fist, assuring him. Of course I know that. Bai Yi slowly drifted into a memory. In his past life, Qi Yin had shone brightly since middle school. The Qi Yin of that time was as radiant as the sun. Hello, everyone. I'm Qi Yin. My dream is to join God's guild and then become a divine servant. He had a deep impression of a confident, optimistic, and generous young lady. She had always attracted the admiring gazes of men. Even though I heard she comes from a family with a deep background, she's very kind to everyone. She was even the class president in middle school, and always serious and responsible. The image of Qi Yin in Bai Yi's imagination attracted a shimmering golden light in the darkness. After that, there was no more news of her. Perhaps she lived a normal life. But right now, she was a person worth trusting. He stood 2 steps in front of her, taking the lead. As long as nothing unexpected happens, I can hide my strength and pass this trial. Ziling stood silently behind, watching the controlled lion. Do you really think the 2 of you are enough? This vine wall can't hold it back at all, not even for a few seconds. He gritted his teeth resentfully, his eyes glaring. Real combat isn't just about confidence. With the strength of you 2, there's absolutely no way you can deal with a demonic beast that has been enhanced. Ziling cracked his knuckles, manipulating the battle. He gave a grotesque smile. Wait until the end when you're begging for mercy and can only ask for my help. If he doesn't step in and show some mercy, then I'll teach you guys what seniority means. The lion completely broke free from the loose vine wall. Roaring in fury, Bai Yi quickly moved forward and instructed. I'll lure the lion. It's a core type, so you need to time it right. Qi Yin responded in sync. Got it. As soon as it lunged to pounce on both of them, he gave the command a second early. Go immediately, Bai Yi, and she split off in different directions. As he ran, he glanced back. I just damaged it, so now it's prioritizing chasing me. Sure enough, the lion frantically pursued Bai Yi. In a flash, he was in front of a calm lake. He recklessly jumped into the lake. It too followed closely, full of fiery rage. Bai Yi began an underwater chase, stirring up the lake bed. Bubbles flowed against the lion's direction of movement. He turned back and saw its fangs inches from him. Now's the time. Bai Yi exhaled through his mouth, tensely looking at the 2 large, sharp fangs. He hastily executed the move, Vine Wall. Dozens of vines shot up from the water's surface, binding the lion's limbs and midsection. It was wrapped in thorny green vines. Qi Yin, waiting on the shore, saw that it was temporarily immobilized and held her spellbook ready to fight. The lion roared and struggled with all its might, but to no avail. The time was right. She pointed at the target and shouted, "Constrict!" The vines tightened even more. It thrashed its legs and head frantically. Frenzy effect expired. Core type state expired. Unable to escape the poisoned state, Qi Yin, while controlling the lion, used her magic to pull Bai Yi safely to shore. He swung his sword in a victorious arc. It can't escape now. Next, let's complete the test and get the highest score. Ziling witnessed the unsightly outcome, sweating in disbelief. How is this possible? A single vine wall can trap the lion. Even I couldn't control it that easily. And I even buffed it. Each loop of the vines twisted and intertwined, increasing the size of the restraints, binding the lion from head to tail in midair. He felt like he had a mouthful of chili but couldn't spit it out, utterly furious. The teacher, who had been watching, paused on the screen showing Bai Yi's team. If you lure a core-type lion into the water, its abilities won't be at their full potential. However, the abilities of a flower-type underwater can be enhanced. He was completely won over by the talent he displayed. Using the simplest elemental counters, plus coordination with a teammate, he easily subdued a higher-level monster. His instant reaction time and leadership skills are also outstanding, aren't they? The teacher turned to the other teachers and said, "The top spot in this combat simulation? It seems there's no need to think about it." A female teacher agreed. "There's only one final blow left. She can finish off this lion." When the entire video is sent to the guild for review, he will very likely receive a score. That's the highest in history. The lion was now half submerged, its blood staining the lake red. The monitor display suddenly went black. The teachers suddenly became agitated. The live feed was cut. Why now of all times? Back at the lake shore, the streaming device sputtered with sparks and smoke, then fell to the ground. Ziling had silently drawn his bow and fired an arrow, destroying the evidence, the key evidence. He smiled with satisfaction. Without video evidence, don't even think about getting the highest score. A blue system window appeared next to the lion's corpse. Successfully killed the 2-headed lion, LV2D rank. Received 100 experience points. Bai Yi couldn't help but be impressed. Luckily we had your ability. Qi Yin quickly demurred. Not at all, it was all because I followed your commands. He cut her off. No, it's because you've trained your elemental resistance enough that you could use a single skill, with so much variation to capture it. She asked dazedly, elemental resistance. Ziling suddenly stepped forward, startling Qi Yin. All right, you two defeated the boss, so stop the chit-chat and talk outside. He turned and walked away just like that, his face dark with jealousy. That's enough. Bai Yi spoke up nonchalantly. You also know full well what a suddenly powered-up D-rank monster means for students entering a dungeon for the first time. Don't you? Ziling made a blatant excuse. I already told you I was just trying to help that girl get stronger, but who told him to dodge? This time he cut him off. Then your skills are pretty pathetic. This comment from Bai Yi seemed to hit a nerve with Ziling, making his eyes widen guiltily. He decisively called out his dirty trick. As a marksman, is this the best accuracy? You can manage. Qi Yin also reacted sharply. No wonder you weren't chosen for the school's top student group. Ziling, fuming, drew his bow. What did you say? Bai Yi habitually stepped in front of her. The tension between them didn't cool one bit. His jaw was clenched in anger. His brows furrowed, unable to utter a word. Ziling seemed to think of something, then lowered his bow with contempt. He snorted coldly. This isn't over. He turned sharply, leaving a parting threat. You just wait. Ziling headed straight for the dungeon exit. He and Qi Yin slowly followed when suddenly a broken probe lying on the side caught Bai Yi's eye. After he was completely gone, she showed her annoyance. That upperclassman's personality is so irritating. Then seeing him kneeling and concentrating, Qi Yin got curious. What are you doing? She leaned over to look. Isn't this... Bai Yi held the severed cable thinking. Did he do this? Was it to stop us from getting a high score? Now no one can see what's happening in here anymore. After he gets out, he'll need to get an entry permit first, before he can come back in. The others are also quite far from this demon den, so that should give me enough time. He smiled mysteriously. He actually did me a favor. Now I have a chance to do what's left. Qi Yin still didn't understand Bai Yi's intentions. What do you mean, what are you going to do? She followed him to a glowing red seal. Two crossed spears in an X shape blocked the circle of fire. He stood there boldly, a blue aura radiating around him, contrasting with the red magic, smoldering in the deep cave. Class rep, what happens next? Can you keep it a secret for me? Although even if you told someone else, no one would believe you anyway. Qi Yin went from one surprise to another, utterly bewildered. A secret, no one would believe it. What on earth are you planning to do? Bai Yi silently put his hands in his pockets. A brief memory of a victory flashed through his mind. Only his own voice could be heard. But you have to give me something in return. The unsealing magic stone, you have it. Bai Yi took it out of his pocket, the glittering Demon Den Spirit Jade. He placed it on a rock outcrop. The characters on the Demon Den Spirit Jade suddenly lit up with multiple colors. I'm going to take this Demon Den Spirit Jade. He extracted a stream of dark energy from within it and completely release it. She realized the immense danger and tried to stop him. No, don't, this is a D-rank demon den. If you release it, all these high-level demon beasts will appear. The Demon Den Spirit. Jade radiated countless streams of dark red energy, unleashing its full power. That energy penetrated the seal. Bai Yi spread his feet to brace himself. Don't worry. Their strength is still suppressed by the seal's power. But Qi Yin insisted, even so. For just the two of us to deal with so many D-ranks is... The small fire bracelet on his wrist began to absorb the spiritual energy. We don't need two people. The originally white light had turned red at some point. Flames and smoke now flared around Bai Yi's body. She stared wide-eyed in astonishment, stammering. You, Qi Yin shouted excitedly. How can you? The flames grew large enough and his scepter was ready to ignite. He was calm as still water. Just me. She couldn't help but gasp. How can you also be a mage? Bai Yi didn't have time. He urgently commanded Qi Yin guard the entrance. One then two grandmasters broke their chains and rushed onto the battlefield. Drool dripped from their fangs, hungry for prey. They surged, breaking all their chains, and aggressively charged towards him. She couldn't help in time, only able to helplessly raise a hand and warn, be careful. Bai Yi didn't flinch and swung his scepter. Killing intent took shape, unleashing powerful counterattacks. The system above his head displayed, switch to Cloud System Mage LV5E rank. Bai Yi slammed his scepter down, casting freeze. Several rays of blue light shot out like arrows, enveloping the grandmasters who saw him as prey. Qi Yin covered her mouth, amazed by the red quality profession. I had so much trouble controlling just one lion. As for the fate of those three grandmasters, they were all frozen solid by Bai Yi's single attack. She was both admiring and slightly disbelieving. and yet you controlled 3 of them. In an instant, he explained calmly, these monsters have been locked up inside. For so long they must have gone mad. They'll rush out together soon. Bai Yi, while his battle spirit was still high, made a serious request. I need a bigger area. Hearing the command, Qi Yin instantly shot off like the wind. Got it. The beast's footsteps shook the cold, hard ground. A pack of leopards rushed out like hungry tigers, revealing their blazing fire. Fierce Flame Leopard LV-12 D rank. It was a beast, with a huge body targeting him. Bai Yi struck again with his scepter, breaking its leg. He thought to himself, so these monsters are D rank. But having been sealed for so long, their power must have been reduced by at least half. Same old trick, freeze. The fierce flame. Leopard's flesh paled as it was covered in ice. Bai Yi continuously swung his scepter as skillfully as a sword. My mage skill is freeze. First I have to control all of them. In short, freeze instantly condenses water in the air into ice, thereby controlling the opponent. He quickly dodged to the side, before some creature could stomp on him. Bai Yi spun around, changing in an instant. Switched to Core System Warrior, Flame Swordsman LV-13 D rank. As it pounced, he immediately launched a counterattack. Bai Yi's face hardened in a flash, trying to sneak attack me. The moment it landed, he flew back up at lightning speed. Not a person, just a fleeting afterimage. Switched to Cloud System Mage. Bai Yi gripped his scepter, casting freeze from above. The Flame Swordsman, when frozen, was still in a mouth-gaping, aggressive pose like the other beasts. It dawned on Qi Yin. He can switch professions at will. Seeing him land lightly on one foot, she began to understand. Moreover, looking at his current actions, I can understand why he wanted to go into the elemental room back then. Qi Yin's mind was quite sharp. The reason for training elemental resistance, the essence of the mage profession is to directly channel energy in the form of natural power or control objects of the same element within a certain range. She seemed to have learned something new. Before I thought that the stronger the magic power and the more times you release it, the stronger you'd get. At that time, Qi Yin was quite confused while learning magic. Wall of vines, why won't it come together? But after witnessing his maneuvers, I realized that controlling the power is even more important. Bai Yi raised his scepter high, unleashing a few more ice spells, sealing the crazed grandmasters. She mulled over the theory. The power of the elements comes from nature. It's wild, primal, and very difficult to tame. Qi Yin believed that only by completely controlling one's own elemental power can one use more varied techniques. Each frozen block of ice held a monster's corpse suspended in midair under the control of his scepter. He instantly lowered the scepter, causing the heavy blocks of ice to crash down onto the ground. The barren ground. She thought to herself, even with just a basic skill, it can be used in so many ways. Qi Yin's gaze suddenly froze. In this moment, watching Bai Yi neatly take down all the D-rank beasts, she was involuntarily stunned. He's already so used to this, Qi Yin thought grimly. All of us have been left in his dust from the very beginning. She pressed her lips together silently. Then her face revealed an expression of utmost excitement as she praised so cool. A huge foot stomped down on the ground. A massive monster, its eyes glowing brightly. Demon Den Overlord Spirit King level 15 D rank. Hell Mammoth. Seeing the Overlord appear, the protagonist got excited. Good, you're finally out. The beast let out a roar, creating a massive wave of ice that froze everything. From below, he held his sword and executed a move. Switched to Core System Warrior. He took a stance ready to fight. He thought to himself, the thing I need is on you. The protagonist leaped high, landing on the beast's head, simultaneously using the skill Weak Point Strike. He slashed his sword across its thick hide. Blood from the beast's wound sprayed out endlessly. The protagonist's face was cold as he thought, a level 15 mammoth after being sealed is even weaker than a level 10 lion. Even after being slashed like that, the beast didn't die but whipped its head towards the protagonist. Its eyes blazed fiercely. It charged towards the protagonist with great momentum. He quickly jumped up once more. Weak Point Strike was unleashed repeatedly by the protagonist, leaving the beast to do nothing but roar in pain. The final attack sent it collapsing to the ground. But the protagonist's eyes continued to emit a yellow light, blazing. His body was enveloped in a golden aura. His eyes also sharpened with that light. Unification. An area of effect attack, purified land. System notification activated title 1 against 100. The beast opened its mouth and cried out more pitifully than before. The ones that had been frozen were also affected by his skill and had their lives ended. Countless successful kill notifications from the system rang out. The protagonist read the data panel in his hand with a grim look. He waved his hand and the system panel disappeared. Before his eyes, a large gem appeared. Deep pink. The resonance jade. A pair of king jades with a special function. Looking at the gem on the ground, the protagonist sighed inwardly. Finally got you. Reading the notifications about upgrading to D rank, the protagonist was slightly surprised. Oh, my mage class is D rank now too. From a distance, Chi Yin looked at the pile of monster corpses lying, strewn across the ground, speechless. Seeing her, the protagonist walked over and called out Chi Yin. He asked calmly, "You still remember what I said, right?" Hearing him say that, she replied blankly, "Huh?" Elsewhere, 3 teachers ran over worriedly. A young teacher in the lead cried out, "If the seal is really broken, it's going to be a huge deal. We've never detected an energy fluctuation this big before. I told you we should have brought someone along." Suddenly, the male teacher in the lead cried out in surprise when he saw Ziling slowly walking up the stairs. "Why are you out here? Aren't you supposed to be inside protecting the underclassmen?" He asked such a question, but without waiting for Ziling's reply, he dashed off. "Can't worry about that now. Hurry over there." Ziling, caught off guard by the question, asked back, "The seal is broken." He turned to look at the group, who in their panic rushed past him. He then chuckled with satisfaction. "Ha ha ha ha. See, payback comes quick." The young teacher arrived and called out loudly, "Bai Yi Chi Yin." He was about to ask something, but stopped. "You two." Seeing the teachers gathered there, the protagonist asked, "Teachers, why are you all here?" Looking towards a deep, dark hole behind the stone wall, the young teacher exclaimed, "Huh, was the seal broken?" Another teacher also asked, "Could the machine have given a false alarm?" "As long as you're okay, that's what matters." May 29th, Friday, before the end of school. A blue-haired person was holding a piece of paper, reading it with a dark expression. Opposite him was Ziling's triumphant face. He smiled victoriously and asked, "Vice Captain, the documents I submitted this time should be enough, right? For the final member spot?" After reading, the Vice Captain scoffed and replied, "I'm truly sorry, Captain. We've already made our choice." Hearing this, Ziling was stunned, his eyes wide. "What, who?" He lost control and grabbed the Vice Captain. "Didn't you say that this spot would be left for the most valuable person? Are my skills and background still not enough?" A girl standing not far away cut in. "We've already found the most valuable person." Anla rested her chin on her hand and said with amusement, "That Bai Yi kid is very interesting." Friday, May 29th evening. At a deserted eatery with only 2 customers, Chen Jinwu breathed out a puff of white smoke and reminded him, "Hey, don't cause any more trouble. I went through a lot of trouble to get you out early." The person opposite him replied while slurping noodles, "Of course I know." Jinwu's eyes darkened. He leaned in close to the person opposite him and whispered, "I got news. Captain Hong will arrive next Friday. Do you know?" The person opposite him replied, "Don't worry." Suddenly, Jinwu's phone screen lit up, displaying an incoming call. Ring, ring, ring. He picked up the phone and said wearily, "That old man is calling again. I'm going back to the squad first. You should go home early, too." With that, Jinwu stood up and left. The person sitting opposite him also replied softly, "Of course I will." It turns out the person sitting opposite Jinwu all this time was the protagonist's father. His eyes glowed with the demonic red light. While eating his noodles, he said, "Go home early." Now his face was contorted with anger. Looking at the empty house before him, he wondered in confusion, where the hell did those 2 die? And then he smashed the chair. He scowled and cursed, "How dare you run from me?" His reflection in the mirror showed his teeth clenched tightly. His eyes were bloodshot with rage. "If I ever get my hands on you." He clenched his fist and shattered the glass. He growled through his teeth, "I'll kill you both." The protagonist put a red necklace around his mother's neck, explaining as he did, "This gem is called the Resonance Jade." He continued to instruct his mother, "From now on you must always wear it." He held up the necklace around his own neck and continued, "I have one just like yours." An image of his mother's necklace, shattering, appeared as his instructions echoed. "If you're ever in danger, crush this jade. My jade will sense it then, and I'll come to your side immediately." He took his mother's hand and smiled gently, continuing, "Without this, to be honest, I wouldn't feel at ease going out alone." The protagonist's mother's face was still full of confusion. He looked at his beloved mother before him and thought to himself, as I recall, "Mom has never received a necklace or any jewelry." He smiled gently, his eyes affectionate as he thought sadly, in her heart she never had anything that should have belonged to a woman. At this moment, the protagonist's mother raised her hands to sign a message to him. "Son, don't hang around me on the weekends. At your age, you should be going out with your friends more often." Hearing his mother say this, he laughed. "Don't worry, Mom, I don't have that kind of need." Hearing his reply, she waved her hands worriedly. "You must have someone important to you." Hearing this, the protagonist was slightly taken aback. He turned to look at the glass in front of him and thought, someone important. In his mind there appeared countless images of his teammates from his past life as he wondered, I wonder if I'll ever be able to see them again. In this life. 11:58 p.m. in front of the Wilderness D-Rank Demon Den. A red mist hovered in midair. The protagonist's inner voice echoed from somewhere. Anyway, the Resonance Jade problem is solved now. I don't have to worry about it anymore. The protagonist stood in the middle of a red, ethereal space. This is another hidden demon den I know of. It only opens for a short time, at midnight and closes at 1 a.m., so I don't have much time. He held his sword firmly and walked forward. Now I have to focus on improving myself. His steps suddenly faltered. A wild, corpse orchid and a blood-devouring flower in front of him made him stop. In my past life, I became a top-tier warrior. He dashed, moving quickly to another position. He couldn't help but think, but I could only watch helplessly, as my comrades died in front of me. Friends! His face turned cold as he rushed towards the monster. With one move, he successfully sliced the monster in two. The system immediately announced, successfully killed blood-devouring flower. Received 260 experience. Received item blood-like flower petal. Forgetting reality, the protagonist was still lost in his thoughts about the thing called friendship. What's the point of having them? He stopped in front of the wild corpse orchid, his mind still not free from his thoughts. When the day comes that the God's Legion sets its sights on you, the protagonist shot forward like a rocket. Another move took down the monster. Weak point strike. As he fought, the protagonist was lost in thought. And otherwise will still die without a proper burial. He landed powerfully. He told himself with determination, I need to get even stronger. The system chimed. Successfully killed wild corpse orchid. Received 320 experience. It's not over yet. From somewhere, countless more monsters appeared and surrounded him. The protagonist emphasized in his mind, faster, stronger than everyone. He was surrounded by the monsters, but he gritted his teeth and told himself, and then his eyes turned bloodshot. With one move, he wiped out the entire horde. The system continued to announce, successfully killed wild corpse orchid. Received 320 experience. He bit down hard on the monster's tentacle, resolute. I have to fight with my life on the line. Remembering the man unworthy of being called his father, the protagonist told himself, I'm still too weak now. I can't even beat that guy. Remembering the arrogant god from his past life, he became even more determined, let alone that genius who was a golden marksman since he was a kid. Therefore, I have no detours or shortcuts. The protagonist's feet dragged slowly. Slowly, he dragged himself towards the monsters in front of him. He resolved in his heart, I can't avoid any enemy. The protagonist stood proudly among the monsters. Blood-devouring flower. He swung his sword powerfully with the unification skill. His blue stream of power radiated out, surrounding the monsters. Purified land. The protagonist unleashed his final skill, causing the monsters to be defeated one by one. The system's voice rang out repeatedly. Successfully killed blood-devouring flower. Received 260 experience points. He landed with a yellow wave of power enveloping his entire body. The protagonist's eyes were now filled with resentment. Looking at the door that was slowly closing, the protagonist felt a flash of anxiety. The entrance to this demon den will close in 20 minutes. I have to deal with the overlord quickly. Saturday, 12:39 a.m. The protagonist walked with a blue power wave surrounding his body. The protagonist, full of fighting spirit, looked up. Huh! Before his eyes was a huge monster, surrounded by a black aura. Found you. Suddenly, the protagonist let out a confused cry in his mind. Huh! The monster before his eyes had suddenly vanished, nowhere to be seen. It flashed in front of him, preparing to unleash a blow. Overlord level 20. D-rank Ye Wu Ming. The protagonist quickly swung his sword to strike. He gritted his teeth and slashed off the monster's arm. Seeing this, it silently looked at the protagonist, thinking something over. Then its severed arm grew back and healed. Self-healing skill. Seeing this, the protagonist was stunned, his eyes wide. How can its self-healing ability be so strong? Wu Ming then slammed its arm into the ground, shattering it. Then countless tentacles grew from the ground. The protagonist immediately turned his head to look around. Behind him, red monsters were crawling up with sharp protruding teeth. They quickly crawled towards the protagonist. He wondered, weren't these demon beasts already killed by me? How can they stand up again? He glanced around, still wondering. A D-rank overlord shouldn't have resurrection abilities. A strange black object shot towards him. The protagonist's face contorted in pain. From somewhere, dark red blood splattered. A sharp object had pierced through the protagonist's body. He glanced behind him at the monster that had come from nowhere and stabbed him. Shi Wuming Ye Wuming's twin brother. It pushed harder, stabbing him deeper, making the protagonist grit his teeth and think. So there are two overlords, two identical overlords, that the protagonist had to defeat. His eyes lit up as he glanced behind him. Saturday, 12:59 a.m. The two overlords disappeared one after another in a flash of light. Saturday, 1:00 a.m. The demon den entrance has closed. Now the space of the demon den was filled with only red lights, flickering dimly. Saturday, May 30th, 6 p.m. Heavy rain fell from a gray sky. The protagonist's mother stood in front of the glass door, worried about him. Another day and he's not back. I've sent so many messages, but he hasn't replied. He's not answering his phone either. With that thought, she opened the door and stepped outside. He must have gone somewhere dangerous again, just like last time. I have to go look for him. The rain continued to pour as the sky turned dark. Staggering steps and a drunken voice. Ha ha! You two are something else. Bai Yi's father walked with a terrifyingly angry gait. How dare you go out and rent a house? Without telling me. He walked towards the protagonist's house and remarked, found a decent place, huh? You really know how to live it up. His eyes gleamed menacingly in the dark sky. His face was etched with angry lines. The protagonist's mother, still unaware, was walking down to the lobby. Suddenly, she stopped in her tracks when she saw something. When she saw it, her eyes filled with panic. A bolt of lightning struck, as if foretelling something terrible was about to happen. The protagonist gripped his sword tightly. He clutched his side, panting heavily, and glanced at them. This is the 5th time. After I kill them, they just get back up. The monster roared at him, a sky-shaking sound. The protagonist continued to fight. Simultaneously, the system popped up, success. Killed blood-devouring flower Lu. 13 received 1 experience. As he swung his sword, he thought, moreover, continuously killing these revived monsters doesn't give experience. Points are items. I have to find the source of their revival. And stop it. His attacks still had no effect on them. They still got up, and even more appeared. It's not just these small fry that can recover. The protagonist zipped through the air with his blades. His eyes were ice cold. Shield slam. The protagonist charged at the level 20 overlord monster, Shi Wuming. His face was serious, and so the protagonist swung his sword at it. The monster, before it could react, took a blow from him, its expression momentarily stunned. Weak point strike. But immediately after it healed its body. The overlord class can also recover instantly. As it healed, it turned its head to signal, but the other guy is using his own healing ability. The protagonist recalled at this moment, but I've tried attacking the other guy before. Even when I cut off his head, he could still heal himself instantly. This is just too broken. Constantly reviving dead monsters, and instantly healing injured allies. He frowned. You'd have to be an S-rank healer or higher to achieve this level. Could something be supplying him with power? Or is there somewhere that stores healing energy? While he was lost in thought, the monster unleashed the skill Shield Slam. In a flash, it rushed to attack the protagonist. He quickly used his sword to block the blow. The way of using a weapon to block damage disperses more than half the damage. Judged based on timing, the MC swings his sword. The monster immediately steps back to parry. Perfect parry timing nullifies 1000% of damage. If reactivated within 0.09 seconds, it can be completely reflected back at the opponent. He looks at it warily. Interesting. While fighting, it's actually able to learn my moves. At the same time, another monster approaches. It speaks in a hoarse voice, "You are strong." The large monster has a healing ability. Its power is so dense that the MC's eyes widen. He subconsciously raises a hand to shield his face. He points his sword at it. Found you. With that, the MC charges towards the source of the flower-type power. This ancient tree is the center of the energy. He slices off the monster's arm. He narrows his eyes, observing the boss's healing power. It's because of its existence that the healing can work on such a large scale. A scale this large. As if sensing his intention, the monster screams in fear, "No!" The MC puts his strength into a swing at the ancient tree's trunk. So if I just cut down this ancient tree, he smirks devilishly, I'll be able to kill you. Cloud-type summoning mage. While the MC, weapon in hand, charges toward the giant green tree, another force from afar controls the elements. Stop him. Halt. His gaze is ice cold. His hand slightly shakes the weapon as he shouts the command, "Freeze!" Instantly, the two monsters are frozen solid. On its skin appears D-rank level 20 Spirit Lord, Shi Wuming. D-rank level 20 Spirit Lord Ye Wuming. One of the two monsters stands tall. D-rank level 20 Spirit Lord. Ye Wuming core-type summoned warrior. It uses its sharp fangs to shatter the layer of ice surrounding its body. The MC's eyes look fierce. He says softly, "Looks like my guess wasn't wrong." The monster's eyes glow golden when it hears him speak. A giant green tree tilts over, turning yellow with an orange glow underneath, like a flickering flame. The MC calculates, when you and the tree fall, you'll lose your ability to heal and resurrect. He charges forward to kill the two spirit lords. Successfully killed D-rank level 20 Spirit Lord. Ye Wu Ming, gained 2500 experience. Obtained high-grade item 100 Spirit's Grass. Can instantly restore 50% of stamina. Heals most physical damage taken. Many red and purple threads intertwine, slowly forming a monster. Its blue eyes look fierce. Over here, the surrounding ice cracks. The Spirit Lord gradually recovers, standing up to fight. The MC holds a scythe in his hand, pointing it at the Spirit Lord. Now it's your turn. The monster looks on calmly. It stands defiantly before the MC, which surprises him a little. It taunts him. Kill me. D-rank level 20 Spirit Lord Shi Wuming. The MC lets out a faint smile. First time I've seen a Spirit Lord like this, because your brother died. You don't want to live alone. A flash of lightning, a streak of blue light. The MC attacks the Spirit Lord as he speaks. A ray of light, yellow in color, pierces the Spirit Lord's body. Then I'll grant your wish. Successfully killed Spirit Lord, D-rank level 20. Shi Wuming, gained 2500 experience. System notification, obtained high-grade material. Poison Thorn, required material for crafting the poison. Laced high-grade Tier 5 weapon piercing infinity. A purple object appears in his hand, looking like an animal's claw. He lets out a sigh of relief. The system announces again. Core-type warrior has leveled up to level 15, D-rank. Cloud-type mage has leveled up to level 13, D-rank. Received bonus stat points. Click to open details. The MC stands before a red cave. Ahead is a white light. His right hand still firmly grips the dual blades. His left hand holds the purple object. Light radiates from around him. After killing the boss, the cave entrance is opened again. A notification sound chimes. A stats panel appears before him. Element accumulated. Flower type is full. Ready to awaken a new class. The MC casually brings a finger to his temple. He wonders to himself. The flower type is already full. He spreads his arms to the sides. Many green threads appear around him, enveloped by colorful ribbons of light. He wonders what kind of class will it be this time. The system announces with a lively sound. Successfully obtained. He smiles brightly, joy evident in his eyes. Last time it was a red quality class. This time, the system continues its announcement. Flower type summoner level 1, E rank. The MC is a bit disappointed. Just a blue quality class? He sighs. But the summoner class doesn't have high stat requirements. I just don't know what its main skills are. A blue frame displays skill, Spirit Flower Contract. After defeating a flower-type demonic beast, you can form a soul contract with it and have it work for you. Contracts completed so far are 2, passive skill, Scattered Petals. Can see the souls of recently deceased flower-type demonic beasts. The MC murmurs, "Oh, Spirit Contract." Then he reaches out and touches the white text on the screen. He glances slightly behind him. His face shows a hint of confusion. So the 2 bosses I just defeated, doesn't that mean I can... The MC stands silently looking at the 2 creatures he had immobilized. Their bodies emit a blue and purple glow. Their spectral forms fly aggressively towards him. The MC holds out his hand, as if preparing to grab something. Activate Spirit Flower Contract. He holds his palm open in front of him and gives a command. You 2. His hand moves slightly. At the same time, his expression becomes serious. Come here. The 2 monsters' forms gradually solidify. A man stumbles towards a house door. Suddenly, the phone in his pocket buzzes. The man stands tall in the rain. He feels annoyed and curses under his breath. Who's calling me at this hour? He answers the phone with an irritated hello, Officer Chen. It's unclear what was said on the other end of the line. He's only seen responding while running forward quickly. Really, I can also attend Captain Hong's banquet. Okay, I understand. I will definitely seize this opportunity. This time, I'll be sure to prepare a truly extravagant gift for him. Don't worry, I know. I won't miss this golden opportunity to build connections with the guild, he says to himself. Today really is a good day, he hums as he walks. He puts his phone in his pocket and tells himself, so I should go find my dear little sister and reminisce about the old days, huh? Saturday, May 30th, 6 p.m. Bai Yi's mother stands in the rain waiting anxiously. The MC holds an umbrella in one hand and carries a bag in the other. He slowly approaches his mother and asks, Mom, why did you come down? It's raining. Hearing the familiar voice, the mother is a bit startled. He walks over to shelter her with the umbrella, a bright smile on his face. He speaks gently. Let's go home. The shiny silver bracelet on her wrist, she whispers, this silly child. She is lost in thought, sitting silently gazing at the bracelet on her wrist. And he said he went out at night just to give me this gift for Mother's Day. But a loud noise from upstairs startles her. She looks a bit sad and asks herself, Son, do you really think that just because I can't speak, I don't know anything? Meanwhile, the MC is upstairs lying on his bed. His expression is a bit puzzled. Currently, I have a total of 3 classes. green quality warrior, blue quality summoner, and red quality mage. He sinks into thought and system notifications. Currently, 2 combat classes have reached D rank. Cloud-type mage is level 13. After defeating a flower-type demonic beast, I can form a contract with its soul and have it work for me. As the level increases, the number of contracts I can sign will also increase. E rank 2, D rank 4, C rank 6, and B rank 10. After advancing, I can sign contracts with unlimited elements. He seems a bit tense reading the notification, and many questions appear in his mind. There are still 5 days until he's released. But with his personality, he'll probably bribe the warden to get out early. 3 silver bracelets float in midair. It's a setup. That's why I prepared these things beforehand, just in case. The next day, Sunday morning, the MC walks onto the rooftop. Ahead, a red glow covers the land and sky. He thinks to himself, but in the end, running away won't solve the problem. Before I start my journey of cultivation, I need to solve this problem completely. The MC stands still watching, the spreading red light that covers his field of vision. E rank demonic den conquered. D rank demonic den conquered. E rank demonic den conquered. E rank demonic den conquered. Sunday afternoon. The MC chooses an open space in the forest and stands there thinking. These past few days, I haven't been able to rest for even a moment. I have to quickly advance my class to C rank. The MC's face looks a bit foolish. His hand is slightly open. D rank demonic den danger level. The system pushes a notification. Entering the demonic den. Sunday night. The MC's face becomes sharp. The surrounding air feels heavy. D rank demonic den conquered. The next time we meet, I'll be stronger than you. Level up. A notification box appears before him, making him a bit dazed. 1. Obtained a new title. Lone Wolf Warrior. Conquered a demonic den 10 times alone, with a level not lower than your own. Obtained Warrior's Key. After meeting certain conditions, you can unlock the Warrior's Tower. Monday morning, June 1st. At the Junior High School for Awakeners. Teacher Huang proudly announces to the class that their class has the final evaluation results. First and second in the entire school are the MC and Chi Yin respectively. Moreover, after the headquarters carefully analyzed his video, they determined his final score is the highest in history. To the astonishment of the two, she continues. So, that means this time they not only qualify for the cultivation trip, but thanks to him, they've also earned the right to meet the God Clan. But the MC remains silent. In contrast to him, the classroom is filled with shouts of amazement, an honor that even divine officials find hard to obtain. The MC falls into deep thought, because he didn't expect fate would grant him a chance to meet those people face to face. The freckled kid sitting next to him has tears and snot running down his face. He whines at him, "When you make it big, don't forget us old folks back home." The girl with glasses is like a proud father, happy that his son has shined. In the faculty office, Hong Liang looks up at Hong Chang and asks him, "Are you sure you don't want to go?" His father went through a lot of trouble to come back for a visit, and it's a perfect opportunity. He could go to the headquarters under the pretext of accompanying him and tag along on the cultivation trip, but he remains stubbornly silent. Hong Changsheng's fist is clenched so tight it's trembling. Despite his reluctance, he still firmly refuses, because only getting third place makes him feel unworthy. He doesn't want outsiders to think that everything he has is because of his father. Hearing this, Hong Liang smiles and praises his nephew's ambition. This mature demeanor of his, he really hopes his father can see it. At this moment, Hong Changsheng suddenly looks up and earnestly asks his uncle a favor. He wants to get access rights to the D-rank, sealed demonic den in the back mountains. Hearing this, Hong Liang's face darkens. He immediately gives his reason he wants to get stronger, and he wants to do it on his own. Meanwhile, in the principal's office, a pleading shout can be heard from within. Ziling slams the table demanding to go on the cultivation trip, because he is the sole heir of the Z family. The school's principal, Xu Tingyun, hearing what Ziling said, just says, "So, you do know that, and yet you still act so impulsively." His face is grim. "Explain the reason for your outrageous actions." During the practical exam that day, forcing a demonic beast to backstab your junior. With his crime exposed, Ziling's face turns pale, too flustered to answer. Xu Tingyun scolds angrily. Does he think the people in charge are all idiots? Or something that they wouldn't see through his little trick? If he hadn't covered for him, how could Ziling still be attending school? His whole body trembles with fear before the principal's stern gaze. Ziling, just like that, drops to his knees. He apologizes in terror, then cries and begs his uncle for forgiveness. Only then does Xu Tingyun tell him to stand up. Ziling hesitates. His uncle continues, "You're lucky. Because of that, the people above discovered someone special, the MC, and they noticed something very unusual about him." Xu Tingyun's expression darkens. He announces that someone from the God Clan wants to meet the MC directly. An offer follows. You can go on this cultivation trip with me, but you have to lose that hot temper and be more humble. Otherwise, even I won't be able to protect you. Hearing this, Ziling can't hide his excitement and hastily agrees. He grinds his teeth. He's determined not to let the MC off the hook. Ziling clenches his fist as if victory is already his. And Enli, too. Sooner or later, I'll make you mine. Monday evening before school lets out. The freckled kid opens his phone and receives an invitation to join the school's Supreme Union in the letter. The Supreme Student Union's letter mentions Bai Yi. Join us. He holds the letter and screams. This is the strongest student union in our school. Once you get in, you get a direct admission into God's Guild, without any exams. The classmates start buzzing with discussion. This is our school's prestigious gold quality group. It was established in recent years. It used to be extremely difficult to even apply. And now other people are immediately drawn in. Isn't this for high schoolers? But they're inviting a junior high student. The freckled kid sobs, Bai Yi, you're just too amazing. But suddenly, the MC jumps up from his seat. He takes the letter and walks towards the trash can. Then he throws it right in. Seeing this, the freckled kid is horrified. Why would you reject the invitation? Are you crazy? The MC just tosses back a see ya and leaves. Everyone in the class watches his retreating figure with confused eyes. The freckled kid can't help but feel regretful. Such a good opportunity. The kid with glasses next to him speaks up in his defense. Don't you get the MC? He was never going to join anyone. He states firmly, now he can only be a leader. At the same time, on the mountain behind the school, the MC stands there with a dazed look. I've obtained the D-rank demonic den access rights. No one will come here tonight. With that, Hong Chang urges, let's go in. However, the other boy hesitates. Then he reminds him, a D-rank demonic den is still too hard for you. He retorts impatiently. Cut the crap, I won't drag you down. The other boy thinks to himself, I promised to teach him practical combat, skills and how to get stronger faster. But he had to help me get access rights to the school's demonic den. The MC didn't expect him to actually get access to all the D-rank dens. As soon as they enter, Hong Chang trips and falls flat. The other boy asks, need help? He yells, get lost, I can do it myself. A monster charges towards Hong Chang. The MC stands quietly behind, watching him fight, indifferent to the world. He silently calculates. Right now, because I haven't met the conditions to unlock the skill, I can't enter it. Then the MC turns his head to look at them. He decides to fight the monsters, to level up. On Tuesday after school, in the trash can, the invitation letters are all thrown away. By Wednesday after school lets out, Changsheng is pounced on by those monsters. However, a flash of light passes by. The MC rushes out and kicks that monster away. Seeing this, the other boy grits his teeth angrily. I told you not to interfere. He sighs helplessly. If I hadn't stepped in, you would have been toast. The MC thinks to himself for a moment, then considers himself lucky. Time passes to the 5th day. Changsheng yells with joy after leaving the demonic den, because he leveled up. The MC walks behind him, a stark contrast of calm to his chaos. He walks arrogantly behind. Finally, the warrior class has advanced to C rank. Then he thinks to himself, my current stats are enough to deal with that creature. That night, Yuefu asks excitedly, are you dating a cute girl? The MC waves his hands, denying the question. Then she keeps questioning him about his constantly coming home late. The MC denies it again and again. Then Yuefu sits down and comforts him, liking a girl is a normal thing. You should bravely pursue what you like. Suddenly his eyes widen in shock. The MC's expression gradually darkens. The only girl I care about, a woman, appears in his imagination. Her face is revealed to be Anlei. She rushes over demanding a hug from the MC. Then he blushes with embarrassment and stops Anlei. Then the scene around them changes again. A desolate landscape, the ground covered in corpses. She lies on the ground, struggling to speak. Captain, we won again. Then the MC holds out his hand and says, let's go Enlei. She happily opens her arms, wanting him to carry her. The MC blushes and runs off to get help from someone else. Anla poots at him. In another scene, she's in critical condition, her body covered in wounds. The MC's anger reaches its peak. These thoughts of the past keep running through his head. Then the MC's face grows visibly sad. He can't stop thinking about Enli. The MC thinks grimly, in this new life, I'm the only one who still has memories of our past life. Even if we meet again, there's no connection between us anymore. Elsewhere, a text message arrives. Captain Bai Yi still hasn't responded. It seems he's not interested in our group. Anlei sits on her bed, smiling casually. She gently places the invitation letter on the bed. He's getting more and more interesting. Then Anlei gives a sly smile, looking at the letter. Well, then I'll go see him tomorrow and deliver the invitation myself. A series of skill information is displayed. From Cloud-type Mage, Core-type Warrior to Flower-type Summoner, on Friday, which is also his birthday. The MC looks confused at the gift box on the table. Yuefu tilts her head. This is your birthday present. He can't hide his surprise. He's actually getting a gift on his birthday. The MC slowly opens the gift box. Inside the box is a moss green scarf. Along with it is a letter with her well wishes, but he still doesn't understand why. Yuefu would give him a scarf when summer is just around the corner. The MC's gaze is fixed on the scarf she gave him. Then he's suddenly startled. He wonders, Mom, you know I'm about to go to the Holy River Kingdom. Yuefu reminds the MC, take good care of yourself. She can take care of herself too. Only then does he realize that his mother has always known what he's been doing. Yuefu gives the MC some money so he can treat his friends to a birthday meal. The MC sighs softly because he doesn't really have any friends. Later at school, the clock tower has struck the hour. The schoolyard is empty. A statue of a young girl holding a staff amidst rising water is placed on the table. The MC's face darkens, his eyes a bit judgmental. The freckled kid is extremely proud of his gift, but the kid with glasses acts mysteriously, saying the other kid is too tacky. Watch and learn. With that, he places something on the table. Seeing that item, he is utterly astonished. Seeing his favorite movie, Fatal Magic, placed before him, the MC is too excited for words. In his past life, he often went to the warehouse with the kid with glasses to watch forbidden historical films. He whispers, the teachers can't know about this. Keep it safe. The MC immediately puts the movie disc in his desk. Then he turns and thanks the kid with glasses. He smiles gently. Chi Yin approaches and softly calls the MC's name. She suddenly holds out a gift. Happy birthday! The kid with glasses and the freckled kid's eyes go wide with shock when they see the gift. The gift that Chi Yin gave him is an A-rank mage weapon, the Gem of Illusion. The MC is stunned. He silently stares at the gem. He quickly pushes the gift away and refuses to accept it. Chi Yin tilts her head, her smiling face encouraging the MC to accept it, because her family has plenty, and besides it's useful and will help him a lot right now. With that, she pushes the gift box towards the MC again. Right now he needs to improve himself, so there's no reason to refuse. The MC considers. She saw me switch classes and use the lowest level mage weapon, so she gave me this. Then he silently praises her. Chi Yin is a very thoughtful girl. Even the MC is truly surprised that everyone remembered his birthday. The kids with glasses whisper, gossiping about the ambiguous relationship between the two of them. Suddenly she speaks up, startling both of them. After some thought, he makes an offer. Let's all go out to eat tonight. My treat, are you guys free? The MC says with a smile. My treat, are you guys free? Hearing this, Chi Yin freezes in surprise. The kid with glasses and the freckled kid cheer with joy. The freckled kid is even already thinking about a location to celebrate. As everyone is chatting excitedly, a group of students walks in looking at them and whispering, Aren't those the seniors? Why are they here? Yeah, and it looks like they're heading towards our class. I heard it's the president of the Supreme Union. She came personally to invite Bai Yi to join. At this moment, students from other classes also run out to get the scoop. What this is happening too? Have you ever seen the president? The student from before replies, never. I've only heard that she's a great beauty. Seeing the conversation going off topic, the MC decides to go over there and refuse in person. Watching his back as he slowly walks away, the kid with glasses and the freckled kid can't contain their excitement and start trembling. At this moment on the third floor of the school, a group of students is huddled together. It's unclear what they're doing. Ziling is among them. His face is twisted with annoyance as he thinks of the MC. As soon as he thinks of him, a figure appears in front of Ziling. The MC stands casually, hands in his pockets facing him. Suddenly, a light bulb emits sparks of yellow lightning. Right after one by one, the other lights start doing the same thing. The nearby students are bewildered, not understanding what's happening. In contrast to them, the MC at this moment, his expression suddenly becomes tense. He only sees the bolts of lightning heading straight for everyone. One of those bolts is aimed at the MC's location. His expression remains very calm as he observes. In contrast, everyone around him is in a state of utter panic. But the MC immediately recognizes it as a feint. He pulls a weapon from a spatial gate. His gaze is determined, ready to face it head-on. While he's defenseless, they sneak attack the MC from behind. Luckily, he reacts in time. With one hand, he easily blocks the assassin's attack. Those around him are terrified by this speed. The blurry figure gradually becomes clear. It's Anne Lee. She smiles, staring at the MC. He sizes up his opponent carefully. In a flash, he sees on the move, not far away. She exclaims excitedly about the MC's reaction. I really didn't choose the wrong person? When he fully realizes his attacker is Anne Lee, the MC's composure completely shatters. Anne Lee's whole body glowed with a brilliant golden light. That stream of light caught the protagonist's eye. She leaped over him, to the astonishment of everyone around. MANHWA praised the protagonist for his good reaction. She really didn't choose the wrong person. Looking at the girl in front of him, he couldn't help but be stunned. The protagonist remembered the young woman's smile. She always wanted him to give her a hug. She sat on the stone steps, a radiant smile on her face, her two arms outstretched, waiting for him to embrace her. Even after that battle ended, Anlei's body was covered in wounds, but she still wanted him to give her a hug. The protagonist blushed and turned away. She pouted, scolding him for being so mean. Yet the girl in front of him now had a look that was completely different. Anlei came looking for the protagonist because her invitations went unanswered. Freckles and Glasses couldn't hide their surprise at the scene. He whispered, chiding the protagonist for being harsh, rejecting Anlei to her face. She held out her hand, preparing to introduce herself to him and everyone else. Before she could finish, the protagonist rushed forward. He wrapped his arms around Anlei, making her freeze. But Chi Yin had also just witnessed this scene. That hug was like a bolt of lightning, leaving Ziling stunned, speechless. The protagonist called out Anlei's name. His two hands still held her tight. His voice was somewhat gentle. "Long time no see." Everyone around could only watch in silence. No one said a word. Anlei also silently let him hold her. Seeing the protagonist hug her directly, in front of so many people, Freckles yelled out in shock. Glasses reminded him in a low voice. Anlei was originally our classmate, but because she awakened in her first year, she skipped ahead to the advanced class. Seeing this, Chi Yin froze, her eyes widening in a glare. Suddenly, Anlei transformed into a brilliant golden light. She quickly escaped from the protagonist's embrace. Anlei gently tapped his back with her index finger. A smile appeared on her face as she asked him, "Hugging me like that, does that mean you've accepted my invitation?" According to Anlei, the school's elite team receives full investment from the school and has the best resources, many ways to get stronger, and they can fight together. The protagonist was silent for a long time without answering. Then he bluntly refused. "Joining the school team doesn't mean anything to me." His fingers twitched slightly. The protagonist took Anlei's hand. "Because soon enough, I'll establish my own guild." A smile appeared on his face. Because when he has his own guild, he'll also have the chance to fight side by side with her. A blue-haired male student ran up breathlessly looking for Anlei. He urged her to hurry and welcome Captain Hong. Anlei left only saying, "We'll see each other soon on the training trip. Let's talk more then." She was also quite curious about the reason why the protagonist told her long time no see. Anlei left just like that, leaving him rooted to the spot. Ziling's face darkened. He watched her retreating back. The fact that the protagonist not only rejected Anlei's invitation, but also invited her to join his guild, made the male students there whisper and gossip. Gradually, people started gossiping loudly without holding back. Anlei, not refusing to join the protagonist's own guild, also confused them. Even in his wildest dreams, he never thought he would meet Anlei this way. All information about everyone in the Divine Guild is kept strictly confidential. We never ask about anyone's past, not anyone at all. Because of that, he almost missed this encounter with her. The protagonist gave a slight smile. This could be considered a surprise on his birthday. After school let out, the protagonist and Chi Yin's group gathered at Old Wang's BBQ joint. Freckles and Glasses were eating and loudly gossiping. Chi Yin asked him if he was serious about establishing a guild. The protagonist saying he wouldn't stay here anymore also made her curious. He wasn't staying because after the training trip, he planned to stay in the Holy River Kingdom. Chi Yin's group was utterly shocked to hear that. The protagonist rested his chin on his hand. "I just don't want to study there." Everyone was so surprised they stammered when he said he wanted to apply to the Divine Arms Academy of the Holy River Kingdom. Elsewhere, a car stopped in front of the Kempinski Hotel. A silver-haired man stepped out amidst a welcoming crowd. Lin Gong respectfully invited Captain Hong inside. The man puffing on a cigarette was Hong Bing, captain of the Divine Guild. He strode inside confidently, his white coattails fluttering. Lin Gong looked around, his forehead dotted with sweat. Bai Lingsheng jutted out his chin with a provocative expression. Jinyu leaned against the wall watching. He didn't understand how Bai Lingsheng, who was clearly locked up for 15 days, could suddenly appear here. Jinyu advised Lin Gong to just turn a blind eye, because Bai Lingsheng had paid double the bail to be released early. He gritted his teeth, grinding them in anger but unable to do anything. Lin Gong questioned Jinyu, "Why did you bring him to Captain Hong's party?" Because before, Bai Lingsheng had been kicked out of the guild over a small matter, and this was a rare opportunity for him to seize. Wanting to get back into the guild, Bai Lingsheng had brought his entire fortune. Suddenly, there was the sound of oars clattering to the floor, followed by a curse, "Get out! Who let you in here?" But before Hong Bing's authority, he began to tremble. The cigarette in his mouth was still glowing red. Hong Bing sneered, comparing Bai Lingsheng to a stray dog, unworthy of attending the guild's party. His killing intent even made Jin Yu feel afraid. He bent down, picking up each piece of ore scattered on the floor. Bai Lingsheng apologized, while hoping Hong Bing would give him a chance to explain. Suddenly a hand reached out, grabbing Bai Lingsheng by the collar and yanking him up. Hong Bing said coldly, "You have no power, no status, and you dare come here to bribe me? Take this useless junk of yours, and get the hell out." Bai Lingsheng lay motionless on the floor, listening to Hong Bing's insults. His hand trembled unconsciously, his eyes glaring. Suddenly, Bai Lingsheng smashed his hand down, shattering the gemstone lying on the floor. Those contemptuous words had wounded his pride, making Bai Lingsheng furious. He slowly stood up, a sharp, cold, killing intent radiating around him. Anger had consumed Bai Lingsheng. He had become like a demon. Bai Lingsheng cursed, "Damn it, one by one! I'm going to kill you all!" A woman carrying a bag in one hand opened the door with the other. Bai Lingsheng stood below, looking up at the high-rise building. An expression of sheer terror appeared on Yue Fu's face. He gave an inscrutable smile, his face menacing. Bai Lingsheng's voice made her tremble. What good luck. A group of people in black cloaks stormed into Old Wang's BBQ joint. What the protagonist noticed was the insignia pinned on their cloaks. His eyes followed this group in black cloaks. From that insignia, the protagonist realized that group was the Divine Guild. Freckles leaned close to him and whispered that if he got into the Divine Miracles Academy, he could become their superior. He sighed deeply, as this was their last meal before parting ways. Chi Yin immediately reacted, saying she would also work hard to get in. The protagonist still couldn't take his eyes off the members of the Divine Guild. Putting that aside, the other three raised their glasses to wish him a happy birthday. An unsettling feeling grew in the protagonist's heart. The four of them clinked glasses. "Happy birthday!" The pendant on his neck glowed a brilliant pink. Elsewhere, Yue Fu's trembling hand clutched a pendant tightly. Her face was pale, her mind blank. Only panic and fear remained. Bai Lingsheng questioned Yue Fu, accusing her of betraying him to live a comfortable life. He continued to ask, "Which bastard are you relying on now?" The veins on his face bulged. Bai Lingsheng looked down from above, a cruel glint in his eyes. Suddenly Bai Lingsheng's eyes noticed the items on Yue Fu. The stone on her bracelet was emitting a blue light. Startled, Yue Fu quickly tried to hide it, shaking her head in denial. Suddenly he covered his face and laughed loudly. His voice was vicious. "No wonder you can afford such a nice room." Bai Lingsheng clenched his fist and swung at Yue Fu. His fist flew through the air. Something shot out from the bracelet, blocking Bai Lingsheng's fist. Sensing danger, Shi Wuming and Ye Wuming emerged from the bracelet. It grabbed Bai Lingsheng's wrist, stopping his punch. Bai Lingsheng looked on with confusion. His eyebrows furrowed. Two D-rank flower-type summoned beasts stood guard, protecting Yue Fu. Only then did she realize it was thanks to the bracelet the protagonist had given her. He had told Yue Fu to always wear the bracelet when he wasn't around. Shi Wuming lunged forward, attacking Bai Lingsheng. It unleashed a powerful, mighty blow. He quickly raised his hand to shield his face. Ye Wuming also refused to stand by idly and prepared to charge. Shi Wuming landed a painful punch on Bai Lingsheng's chest. He staggered back, clutching the wound. Despite the pain, Bai Lingsheng still smiled. He wiped away the blood with his hand. "Perfect, let me vent some anger." A killing intent gleamed in Bai Lingsheng's eyes. Elsewhere, the protagonist's group was still eating and drinking. He stared silently at his pendant. Suddenly, the protagonist shot to his feet. To everyone's confusion, a wave of anxiety washed over him and he immediately left. The protagonist leaned against a wall, calling Chang Sheng, asking about Bai Lingsheng's situation. He told him that today he had attended Hong Bing's party and was thrown out. The protagonist listened in silence, his brow furrowing slightly. His video call to his mother went unanswered. His calls to his mother went unanswered. The protagonist started to worry. The thought of Bai Lingsheng going after Yue Fu made his face darken. He was sure his mother was now in danger. The protagonist quickly rode his bike back to find his mother. Although he had left the Wuming brothers with his mother, the protagonist couldn't stop worrying. At this point, Bai Lingsheng had nearly gone berserk. He had defeated almost all of the summoned beasts in one go. On the other side, one summoned beast remained, stubbornly protecting the protagonist's mother. Seeing this, the corner of his mouth twitched up, showing his amusement. But suddenly Bai Lingsheng frowned. It turned out the summon was trying to stop him. "You shall not pass!" Bai Lingsheng's face immediately darkened. So annoying. He grabbed the summon. Bai Lingsheng roared, determined to destroy it. Seeing the bloody scene, Yue Fu was extremely horrified. After finishing one off, he turned to threaten her again. Bai Lingsheng advanced menacingly. The situation now made the summoned beast feel helpless, and so it decided to risk its life and charge forward to protect Yue Fu. The summon tried to shout, "Don't look back." Yue Fu witnessed two horrific scenes happening at the same time. She felt like she was about to collapse. She listened to them, turned, and ran for her life. The summon tried to wrap itself tightly around Bai Lingsheng, but his strength and rage still managed to seep out. He quickly grabbed its arm and knocked it out directly. Looking up, he saw Yue Fu's hasty retreat. He growled, running. The moment the word was out, Bai Lingsheng suddenly appeared in front of her. He gritted his teeth and threatened, "Where can you run? Tell me, where do you think you're going?" Bai Lingsheng reached out and snatched the jade pendant. Then he roared, demanding to know who gave it to her. Bai Lingsheng cursed madly, while crushing the jade pendant in his hand. This act scared Yue Fu out of her wits. The sharp dagger was swung by him as he uttered vicious curses. In that moment, Yue Fu remembered her son's words. "If you're in danger, break the jade. When the jade shatters, I will appear." As soon as the thought crossed her mind, the protagonist was there to rescue her, making her eyes widen in surprise. Bai Lingsheng, being restrained, also writhed uncomfortably. He coldly commanded, "That's enough." In the past, the protagonist had also pleaded with all his heart against his father's brutal actions, but he didn't stop and hit even harder. At the same time, he kept cursing, spewing the most vicious words. At that time, the protagonist could only beg in despair, "Stop hitting my mom. I'm begging you, Dad." But even though he shouted until his throat was hoarse, the cane still came down without a moment's hesitation. Yue Fu was beaten until she lay curled up and motionless. In the protagonist's memory, the beating that day was because he and his mother came home late from an outing and forgot to tell Bai Lingsheng. So when they returned, he beat her mercilessly to vent his anger, until Yue Fu lost consciousness. Bai Lingsheng, with a savage look, turned to look at the protagonist. But the demon inside him had been completely unleashed. As the protagonist watched, Yue Fu was beaten half to death. At that time, he could only cry out helplessly. Under such intense stimulation, he evolved twice, receiving a blue-tier class, which transformed into a platinum core warrior. The protagonist remembered nearly losing control at that moment. He tightened the chains. That power had killed the old man. But even so, the protagonist couldn't bring his mother back to life. Having eliminated his wicked enemy, the protagonist still couldn't feel happy. Coming to this life, he swore, "I will absolutely not be one step behind again." The sudden burst of power at that time had shattered the knife that Bai Lingsheng was holding. The resentment in Bai Lingsheng's eyes was almost overflowing. He sneered, "I thought some blind fool had lost his way. Turns out it's you. Perfect, I'll beat you and your mother together." Bai Lingsheng immediately charged forward aggressively. The protagonist stood calmly waiting for him. A second later, he swung his blade, simultaneously activating parry to completely negate the damage. Bai Lingsheng was sent flying by the blow. He spat out a mouthful of blood in pain. Only then did Bai Lingsheng realize with a shock that the blade was his own Kunwu sharp blade. Seeing it in the protagonist's hands, he couldn't hide his resentment. Yue Fu looked over with worry. The summoned beasts behind her had gradually recovered. Seeing this, the protagonist ordered them to protect his mother. Hearing this, Bai Lingsheng also realized that those summoned beasts were summoned by him. He quickly deduced that the protagonist was a dual element awakened, a core warrior and a flower-type summoner. With his own twisted logic, he even laughed proudly. The protagonist frowned, annoyed by this attitude. After speaking, Bai Lingsheng stepped forward menacingly again. "Just inheriting my talent isn't enough for you. Without saying a word, you go and search my safe without permission, and even send your own father to prison. None of these faults can be forgiven." His eyes were bloodshot. Bai Lingsheng thought that all of the protagonist's actions were because he was arrogant after awakening his class. His rage clouded his judgment. Bai Lingsheng recklessly charged forward. This scared Yue Fu, wanting to step forward and warn her son, but she was stopped by the two summons. On this side, the protagonist said nothing, just silently used his power to switch to a cloud-type mage. This scene left Bai Lingsheng stunned, his eyes wide open. His entire body was frozen in an instant. Bai Lingsheng couldn't understand what was happening. Only then did the protagonist speak slowly. "Dual class num." He advanced with overwhelming power. Then the protagonist asserted in a low voice, "How many classes I can awaken? Has nothing to do with you?" These words made Bai Lingsheng furious. But he added, "Because in my eyes you're not worth a damn cent." After hearing this, Bai Lingsheng went berserk. He gritted his teeth, grinding them. Bai Yi stood there observing with a cold expression. He spoke up, "How many classes I awaken? Has nothing to do with you. You right now." Those contemptuous words made Bai Lingsheng extremely indignant. Bai Yi said scornfully, "Are not worth a damn cent in my eyes." He angrily blurted out, "What the fuck did you say?" Bai Lingsheng immediately shattered the ice, saying, after just a couple of compliments, "You think you're hot stuff. You've just barely awakened. Meanwhile, I'm a battle-hardened C rank. It seems you've completely forgotten. Who's the strongest in this house? Bai Yi remained calm, ready to fight at any moment. The two charged at each other with cold faces, launching their attacks. His eyes were filled with a resentment that could make others fearful. Bai Yi continued to use an armor-breaking move on. By Ling Sheng, he was immediately controlled. He growled, "This damage is completely uncontrollable." Impossible. The sharp tip of the sword instantly wounded Bai Ling Sheng. He still didn't understand, cursing, "How did you do that? You just awakened not long ago." An E-rank awakened. Can't have such strong attack power. Bai Yi warned sternly, "From this day forward, we are no longer father and son. My mother will also have nothing more to do with you. From now on, you Bai Ling Sheng are nothing in my eyes." Bai Ling Sheng seemed to collapse, defeated both physically and mentally. He suddenly let out a cunning laugh, as if he was still plotting something. Bai Ling Sheng scolded, "Do you know who it was that struggled and worked hard to earn money? Who was it that worked their ass off to support you and your mother? You are the son of Bai Ling Sheng for one day. You can never change that for the rest of your life." He couldn't control his emotions. He charged forward, yelling, "You ungrateful, heartless beast!" Bai Yi coldly kicked Bai Ling Sheng, sending him flying. Both were heavily injured, lying exhausted on the ground. Bai Yi still got up and rushed forward, preparing for another scuffle. Bai Ling Sheng also jumped up, throwing a powerful punch at him. But those attacks, Bai Yi just easily dodged, which infuriated him. Why, he thought. Bai Ling Sheng stubbornly threw another punch, but it seemed he was slower than Bai Yi now. He angrily unleashed a flurry of punches. He was lost in thought, wondering why, causing Bai Ling Sheng to stumble backward. Blood splattered as he still thought to himself, "I'm a C-rank red tier." Bai Yi grabbed his hair and said, "Didn't you hear what I said?" With a cold, sharp gaze, he asserted, "You were never my opponent." Bai Yi growled, "You were never my opponent. But for more than 10 years in the past, you were abusive time and time again. You only knew how to use violence to prove your status in this house. It's because you, yourself, don't dare to face those who are stronger than you on the outside. You're just a weak, useless piece of trash, a good-for-nothing scumbag. You're fundamentally unworthy of being called a man." Then, with strength fueled by anger, he slammed his head into the ground. His mother covered her face, her eyes welling up with tears, because he dared to stand up and protect her. "Little Yi," Bai Ling Sheng pleaded, but there wasn't a hint of remorse in his eyes. "Hey, wait a minute. Little Yi, no matter what, I'm the one who raised you. No matter what, you should show some consideration for our family ties." "Right." Hearing this, his eyes grew even angrier. Bai Yi grabbed his head, forcing him to face him, and said, "Family ties," he yelled. "Did you think of family ties when you beat me?" He recounted, "When I was 7, you twisted my ear. Just like this, slamming me against the wall again and again. Dad, I'm sorry, Dad. Please stop hitting me, Dad. I know I was wrong. No matter how I begged, it was useless. You twisted my ear until it tore, and still you didn't stop. How many times have you hit my mother? Since the day I was born? Has there been a single month she didn't have to go to the hospital? If the food wasn't good, you'd hit her. If she didn't do as you pleased, she'd get hit. If you came home in a bad mood, you'd hit her. As long as you were around, we never had a single day of peace." He angrily slammed his head into the ground again. Then Bai Yi stood up and continued, "And now you're talking about family ties with me. Do you even deserve to have family ties?" His whole body was now trembling, shaking so much he couldn't get up. He struggled to his feet, his voice trembling. "Sorry, Dad. Dad was wrong. I won't be like this anymore. He gritted his teeth, eyes wide. Sorry, Dad was wrong. But he couldn't be swayed by these words. The more he remembered the past, the angrier he got. "You did this last time, too. You realized you were no match for me. So you started crying and apologizing. But just when I thought you had truly repented, you took a knife and stabbed at me." Bai Yi's anger seemed to reach its peak, causing the bloodlust in him to rise uncontrollably. He said, "A person who holds a butcher's knife will never put it down on their own." A continuous beeping sound was heard. Bai Ling Sheng's eyes also sensed the change in him. The bloodlust within him kept rising, beeping. Then Bai Yi raised his sword as if preparing to strike. Unyielding struggle evolve. Dual judgment. His mother worriedly reached out her hand to stop him. "Little Yi," he said as he slashed, instead of trying to make a sinner truly repent, "it's better to make sure he never has the chance to sin again." A slash of dual judgment cut a majestic, powerful arc. His whole body was beaten to a pulp. His entire body was paralyzed as he cried out, "Ah, my tendons." His voice was weak. Calm down, little Yi. Don't kill me. Kill me. We're father and son." But Bai Yi's face remained cold, unfazed. Then he reached out his hand and unleashed an ice-type skill. Bai Ling Sheng's mouth was then sealed by a layer of ice. Bai Yi raised his hand ready to strike, his voice filled with anger. In my past life, you died by my hand. What's the big deal about doing it again? Suddenly a voice rang out, making him pause. Little Yi, that's enough, little Yi. He turned his head. Whose voice was that, a woman's voice? At this moment, Bai Yi realized it was Ye Wuming's ability. Is he relaying my mother's voice to me? Yu Fu gestured and said, Little Yi, don't become a person like him. He has already lost everything he was proud of. From now on, he will live every day in regret and resentment. This is the greatest punishment for him. He hesitated, Mom, but Her face was sad. I don't want to see you become the next him. I especially don't want to see you in the future, living in darkness. Bai Yi remembered his past life sitting behind bars, looking outside. Her words were like a wake-up call. He said, I know, Mom. I won't kill him, but he also won't have the chance to get near us. Bai Yi gripped his sword, getting into position. This was also my skill from my past life. Then, he unleashed an X-shaped dual judgment attack. Dual judgment. Used when the enemy is in a near-death state, it releases all accumulated power, capable of crippling opponents of the same rank or lower, completely stripping them of all magical power. His eyes watched the attack sharply. The powerful attack landed directly on him, causing him to lose all his awakened powers. Bai Yi pointed his sword at him and warned, Bai Ling Sheng, I have nullified all your awakened powers. From now on, you are no longer a class holder. Leave this city tomorrow, and stay away from my mother forever. He walked over to his mother and said, I'll have Ye Wuming remember your scent. If you come within a 3-kilometer radius of my mother, even if I have to spend the rest of my life in an awakened prison, I will come and kill you without mercy. At this point, the ice on his mouth had melted. He was beaten to exhaustion, struggling to say, I get it. He lay motionless on the ground, looking up at the dark sky with its 1,000 stars, shining like the Milky Way. Night had fallen now, and only a few apartments in the building still had their lights on. Bai Yi ordered his D-rank flower system summoned beasts, Ye Wuming and Shi Wuming. Heal my mother. Shi Wuming immediately said, Don't worry, he hasn't harmed our mother at all. He ran over to sit near Yue Fu and said, Good thing I made it in time. Otherwise, she softly replied, Didn't they already say so? Yue Fu smiled gently. Mom's fine. She gently and affectionately stroked Bai Yi's head. He said helplessly, This won't do either. Later I'll have to find a way to get a jade stone. Suddenly Bai Yi became extremely alarmed. Seeing this, Yue Fu also looked surprised, to the point of being stunned. Just now. He leaned his face close to hers and asked, Mom, you spoke? She replied confused, I spoke. Bai Yi grinned foolishly. This time it wasn't your inner voice, but a voice coming from your mouth, Mom. Yue Fu covered her face with her hands in disbelief. How can I be speaking? Ye Wuming added, Mom's language system was malfunctioning. In reality, it was trauma that led to minor nerve damage. I can heal it. A few days later, Shi Wuming's voice is heard talking to Bai Yi. Master, can you really not stay here? Your mother and friends are all here. If you're willing to let go, he mused, I've already paid the rent in full. Once I save up enough money, I'll buy that house. Also, I've prepared a new jade pendant for Mom. If she's ever in danger, I'll be there immediately. It's just that for most of the remaining time, hearing this, the two of them had tears welling up in their eyes, unable to bear it. Bai Yi turned to them. I'm counting on you to take good care of Mom. Later, Ye Wuming and Shi Wuming are helping Yue Fu cook in the kitchen. He thinks to himself, Mom knows I have to go on a pilgrimage. But she doesn't know that. The me in her mind is no longer me. I carry a burden of hatred that I must face. Now I have the ticket to the Holy River Nation. He is there. This is my best chance. The enemy Bai Yi has been searching for all this time is the mysterious masked man. He holds in his hand the pilgrimage invitation from the Holy Guild's headquarters. He murmurs again, I can get to the Holy River Nation earlier than in my past life, but I don't know if I'll succeed, or if I'll even return alive. Maybe this is just a one-way ticket, but I have to take this train. Currently, Bai Yi is walking with Yue Fu. She speaks up, I almost forgot the time. He is surprised. What time? Today is June 25th, 2105. Yue Fu turns and smiles brightly. It's time for blessings. Tonight is a full moon. On the first 15th day of the annual summer vacation, the high priest of the Huashen Temple will return to Chuxi County. Bai Yi thinks to himself, I forgot Mom is a devout follower of the Huashen sect. She didn't ask and I haven't told her that tomorrow is the day I leave. This is fine too, I'll just leave quietly. Anyway, I'm terrible at direct goodbyes. At this moment, the kid with glasses is lying in a hospital bed. The doctor says the surgery went very well. It was just a minimally invasive procedure, but he'll need to rest for a few days. It's lucky your son found the problem in time. His father, overjoyed, grabs the doctor's hand and says, Thank you so much, Miracle Doctor. You saved my son. The mother exclaims again, "Lie still for me, don't move a muscle." The kid with glasses is helpless. Didn't the doctor say it was just a minor surgery? She gently caresses him. When it comes to surgery, there's no such thing as big or small. You're not to move. He thinks to himself, they forced me to have surgery today. Tomorrow, Bai Yi's group is going to the Holy River Nation. This means I can't go see him off. I wonder if I'll ever get a chance to see him again. The next day, the day of the pilgrimage departure. 12:30 p.m. June 26, 2105 at the Holy River train station. Chi Yin's mother's voice is heard giving instructions. When you get there, you have to take good care of yourself, okay? Remember to call me. When you see your dad, tell him to stay up less at night. Let me give my precious daughter a kiss. She blushes with embarrassment. Okay, Mom. Seeing this, a friend gets a little annoyed. Geez. You guys should head home. It's just a trip. We'll be back in half a month. Don't act like it's a life or death parting. Then the group of friends waves goodbye to their families. Everyone has family to see them off. Only Bai Yi has been alone, standing by himself in a corner the whole time. His face darkens and he stands silently without a word. Miss Huang approaches and asks, "Why did you come alone? Aren't your parents seeing you off?" But he avoids the question and replies coldly, "The train's about to arrive." She looks surprised. "Have you always been so independent?" Bai Yi's eyes show a hint of disappointment as he thinks to himself, "Independent, that's right." A moment later, the train has started to pull into the station. He says quietly, "I'm used to being alone." At this moment, Bai Yi thinks back to the past. When he was a child, his mother was in a very serious accident. At that time, Bai Yi sobbed uncontrollably, "Mom, wake up, Mom." His relatives were all saying, "Did you hear? Lin Lu passed away from lung cancer. They didn't even get to finish the surgery." The friends around him said, "You should go home. Dong Yang can't come back anymore." His master also abandoned Bai Yi, remembering that he screamed in pain. And Le Luxian? Not just them, but his teammates too. Bai Yi thought, "I'm used to it. They all left me one by one. My life is a series of farewells. I got used to it long ago." Calmly accepting the loss of everything. At this moment, the train arrived. Miss Huang turns back to announce, "The train is here. Everyone get ready to board." Bai Yi stands before the train, his eyes thoughtful. Hearing the announcement, just as he was about to step forward, someone called from behind, "Bai Yi." He flinches slightly, his eyes widening. Bai Yi turns back thinking, so this is why I'm still not used to the feeling of starting over. Behind him are Yue Fu and his two friends calling out, "Bai Yi." The freckled kid exclaims, "You have no idea Lin Lu's parents are super strict. If this kid hadn't been raising hell, insisting I sneak him out, I would have come to find you this morning." Bai Yi asks Lin Lu, "Your health, you need more rest. How could you?" The kid with glasses laughs, "Don't worry, I'm fine now. As for you after you get there, remember to take good care of yourself." The freckled kid holds out a gift box. "I really didn't have time to buy a gift, so I picked out an outfit for you and bought some snacks." Bai Yi shakes his head, "No, I can't. You guys just gave me a birthday present." The freckled kid pouts, "Stop being so long-winded. Just take it." At this moment, Chi Yin is also approaching. Yuefu hands him a bracelet. "This is a bracelet Mom prayed for you. The bracelets from the Huashen Temple are very blessed." She takes his hand and places the bracelet in it. She says brightly, "Mom also hopes this can protect you." He thinks to himself, so, Mom went to the Huashen Temple to pray for me. Could it be she knew that I was planning to be away for a long time? Behind them, Miss Huang reminds them, "Hurry up and get on the train, kids. The train is about to depart." The pilgrimage is officially beginning. Everyone watches as Bai Yi boards the train. He thinks that's right. In the month I've been back, he sits on the train, a happy expression on his face, telling himself, "I've changed a lot." Then he looks outside. Jiaming Lin Lu, "Mom?" Outside, Yue Fu waves, "Little Yi, remember to eat well while you're away." The freckled kid and the kid with glasses also wave. "Goodbye when you get there. Remember to send me pictures." Bai Yi waves back at them and thinks to himself, "My closest family and friends, their lives have changed. Someone is waiting for me in my hometown." He rests his hand on the table thinking, "Once I've settled everything, I'll be back soon." From a distance, Zhong stands on a tall building watching the train. His voice is deep and thoughtful. He's boarded the train safely. He'll be at the Holy River Nation soon. The item has been successfully delivered to him. Then Zhong asks, "Are there any other instructions?" The system replies, "Nothing. From here on out, we can only rely on him." On the train, Bai Yi is still focused reading the newspaper. Miss Huang speaks up. "The train for the elite student group and the captain left, one trip ahead of us. They've gone ahead to handle the sea crossing procedures. We'll be arriving at the Jiangguo border soon. On the other side is the Holy River Nation. This pilgrimage officially begins now. Entering the Holy River Nation takes 1 day. As per tradition, Tonight, we will temporarily stay at the border. First, we will conduct an outdoor pilgrimage training session. Zilong, sitting a few seats behind, thinks with a dark face. Bai Yi? He lets out a sinister smile. He thinks tonight's border pilgrimage training will have a good show waiting for you. At this moment, the train is still moving. Miss Huang announces, "We're almost at the Holy River Nation." On the train, she explains, "Everyone knows that God created our world, and it is also God who always protects us. God's three families possess supreme power. The Holy River Nation, before us, is where two of the gods and their families live. Therefore, after entering, you all must strictly abide by God's laws. Absolutely do not cause trouble. To enter the Holy River Nation from Zhangguo, you need to pass through 3 checkpoints." Miss Huang hands Bai Yi a letter and says, "We've already passed the first gate. To be able to sit on this train, you must have an invitation and a Holy River Nation travel permit." Once they reach the second station, she announces, "The second checkpoint is located right here at the border. Everyone needs to register their information and undergo a comprehensive security check. The information check is usually completed within a day, and we can only enter the country the next day. Therefore, the next day will be the first stop on our pilgrimage journey." And they stopped at the border of Zhangguo. Today is June 27, 2105 in the morning. They were undergoing combat training. Everyone had gathered at the coastal border area of Zhangguo, in the wilderness area. Qi Yin looked at Bai Yi and said with a smile, "Wearing this new outfit makes you look more mature." In the distance, Duo exclaimed, "Ah, that's the boy who rejected the Supreme Student Council." Xiaowen walked closer. "He's very cute." Duo greeted him cheerfully. "Your name is Bai Yi, right? I heard you got the highest score in history on the combat exam." Xiaowen beside her offered, "Can you take us with you later?" Bai Yi raised a hand to refuse, which stunned them, but the two of them still giggled. Even his rejections are so cute. Bai Yi looked around and thought to himself, "The level of the demon beasts in this wilderness area is too low. For leveling up professions, it's not very useful. After reaching C rank, leveling up becomes very difficult. Unless..." From behind, Zhang Jun walked up and said loudly, "Ha ha, I also got first place that year. Defeating sealed monsters during the school's assessment is nothing special. But demon beasts in the real world are a completely different story. So through this combat practice, you can truly see a person's true abilities." Xiaowen laughed. "Tuan Nankui, then you can take me with you later, okay?" Dudo next to her chimed in, "Me too." Zhang Jun laughed heartily. "Ha ha, I'll take care of you all." At this moment, Miss Huang called everyone over. "Those who can participate in this pilgrimage are all the most elite students of the school. Although this has been emphasized many times on the train, I want to remind you all one more time. During combat training, you must remember one thing. Training is conducted in the designated area. Absolutely do not wander too far. To avoid acting alone as much as possible. If you encounter a monster, know your limits." 3. Before she could finish, Zhang Jun had already pulled Xiaowen and Duo away running. He shouted as he ran, "3, be at the campsite before 8 p.m. Got it." The remaining students saw this and burst out laughing, but Zilang stood still, his face dark. A moment later, he clutched his backpack, a sinister smile on his face. At the same time, inside the Holy River Nation, a voice rang out. "Captain, you're back." A person bowed and said, "The great hunt is about to begin, and the captain of the Divine Security Team has been waiting for you for a long time." A person next to Li whispered, "This is the privilege of the Supreme Student Council. Getting to ride with the captain on the train, without having to go through any checkpoints." Hong Bing frowned and snapped, "Go directly to the team and wait for me." Chang Sheng was a little scared, but still obeyed, "Yes, sir." At this moment in the wilderness area, Zhang Yun had used his strength to kill a green lizard. Xiaowen and Dudu cheered. No wonder he's a red-quality C-rank professional. So cool? At this moment, the system displayed success. Killed E-rank giant lizard. Zhang Jun said smugly, "It's all right, just a normal performance." On the other side, Bai Yi checked the system and thought to himself, "Currently, I've leveled up all 3 of my professions to C-rank." At this moment, the system displayed Cloud System Mage 21 C-rank, Spirit and Elemental Burst, Core System Warrior 22 C-rank, Steel Body, Strength 3 times that of a normal person, Fire System Summoner, 21 C-rank, Blazing Power increases with level. After defeating a Fire System Demon Beast, can form a contract with its soul, forcing it to submit. As you level up, the number of contracted Demon Beasts increases. At a high tier, can even contract Demon Beasts of other elements, depending on spiritual strength. Bai Yi thought to himself, "But I've been stuck here for over 10 days. If I want to gain experience, I have to defeat monsters of a level equal to or higher than myself, but the demon beasts I can encounter in the demon dens. of Zhangguo are at most D rank, scattered in the wilderness. Are low-level monsters that even the guilds don't bother with. The wilderness area is divided into many different tiers. He thought to himself, killing lower-level monsters provides almost no benefit. Suddenly, a D-rank 8-legged spider attacked Zhang Jun, making him cry out in fear. Ah, Jiwen worried, this spider is so ferocious. Duodor screamed in fear. We can't handle this level. Zhang Jun, who had been poisoned, turned and shouted, Aren't you guys going to help me with the poison? After all, it's a complete D-rank creature, unsealed in the wild. The monster turned its head and charged straight for Bai Yi. Everyone cried out in panic. Kid, be careful. At this moment, the monster was pouncing towards Bai Yi. Everyone warned Kid, be careful. The monster's coming for you. He didn't hesitate and unleashed a sword strike. The spider monster was defeated. The result of Bai Yi's achievement left everyone surprised and in awe. Successfully killed 8-legged spider. Experience +2, received item poisonous spider leg. Then he discarded the poisonous spider leg item. Even the items that drop are mostly low-level materials that take up a lot of space in the backpack. All high-level monsters are controlled by the Holy Guild. That's why people say the gap from C to B is like the difference between heaven and earth. Then Bai Yi left. Xiaowen said, This D-rank poisonous spider leg, you don't want it. He waved his hand, implying he didn't need it. But I remember, in the back of the Holy River Nation's border wilderness, you can find some high-level magic crystals. So if I explore deeper, maybe I can gather some useful materials. His eyes were determined as he moved forward. 7:58 p.m. inside the jungle of the wilderness. The sky was now completely dark with bright stars twinkling. Bai Yi thought, I did find quite a few magic crystals, but this is too strange. Magic crystals contain a great deal of energy and are usually formed in demon dens and places with many demon beasts. He obtained the item, depleted unbroken magic crystal, but the magic power of the crystals here is all depleted. And it's as if it was just absorbed. There were many depleted magic crystals around. Bai Yi stood up and looked. The trees in front of me are the same. It's like their nutrients have been completely drained. So what kind of demon beast can quickly extract energy from its surroundings like this? Can a D-rank monsters possess such energy? In front of him was a flowing waterfall. Bai Yi whispered, There's no path ahead. Suddenly he noticed something on the ground. He bent down to look. A broken glass vial containing a blue liquid. Bai Yi looked at the writing on the vial's cap. He guessed this is cut to 8 p.m. at the night encampment. It was time for the night camp. Everyone was enthusiastically enjoying the party, grilling food by the fire. 2 young men stood next to the teacher. So you managed to defeat so many D-rank monsters on your own. Miss Huang held a freshly grilled skewer of food. She turned to hand it to the 2 and said, Combat training is a simulation of a wilderness scenario, so finding food is an important part of survival in the wild. You all have been fighting all day, and it seems like not many. Have you thought about this? Xiaoho crossed his arms and said sarcastically, A pilgrimage trip. Without even preparing food is just too cheap. MANHWA smirked. Can this stuff really be eaten? But Qi Yin and Miss Huang ate it with relish. Without saying a word, she looked at the full gathering. Only Bai Yi and Zi Lang had not yet returned. Miss Huang looked at the pile of food. Let's leave some for those 2. Qi Yin asked curiously. I thought you only taught theory, Miss Huang. I didn't expect you to be so skilled in combat. Miss Huang smiled sheepishly. I'm hardly what you'd call skilled. Actually, before becoming a teacher, my dream was to join a guild or even become a divine functionary. But she sighed. It's a pity my abilities weren't enough. I didn't even get a chance to take the test. She leaned into Qi Yin's ear. I'll tell you a little secret. This is actually my first time in the Holy River Nation. So I have to thank you all properly. Thanks to you and Bai Yi, I finally have this chance to visit the Holy Land that I've always dreamed of. Qi Yin said, Miss, in that case you should. Suddenly she sensed something was wrong. A sharp object radiating blue energy was aimed straight at Qi Yin. Seeing this, Miss Huang pulled her aside. Then she stood to take the blow for her. It turned out it was a monster's leg. It pierced through her chest and blood sprayed out. Blood splattered onto Qi Yin's face and clothes. She called out, Miss Huang! Everyone was confused. What's going on? What is that thing? Bai Yi's pace quickened. He tried to run to warn of the danger. I have to quickly go and tell everyone to get out of here. He thought, there's an extremely dangerous creature here. Miss Huang said in pain, You guys run, go find the nearest guild. The figure of the monster appeared. My nutrients. This is a B-rank demon beast. B-rank flower system warrior intelligent corpse wolf spider. Extremely high danger level. Source Zifeng Industrial Laboratory. If you encounter this monster, run immediately and contact the Holy Guild. Immediately. A while ago in the morning inside the wasteland, a figure appeared, with dark and terrifying thoughts. Bai Yi, ever since you showed up? But Zilang with a fierce expression. All the attention has been stolen by you. He held the vial of corpse wolf, spider level 8 extremely dangerous in his hand. Always so arrogant. He threw the vial to the ground. A bug with a terrifying appearance crawled out. Absorb the nutrients here well. His expression was vicious. He thought, when you all are in a mess, that's when I'll appear. And show everyone who the real savior is. Now in the wilderness campsite. Bai Yi with a look of panic and horror. How did this happen? He wondered. It hasn't even been a day. This thing grew way too fast. He held a bow in his hand. From a distance, the faint silhouette of a giant monster could be seen. The corpse wolf. Spider bared its fangs and glared, its face extremely ferocious. It had injured Miss Huang and terrified everyone. Bai Yi rushed forward. In my past life, I encountered an S-rank corpse wolf spider. At that time, even though I was at a higher tier, it still took a lot of effort to defeat it. It's good at both offense and defense and specializes in hiding. In terms of individual combat power, it's an all-rounder. The highest level of the remaining students and teachers. Here is only C facing a B rank like, there's absolutely no chance of winning. He contemplated right now. If I don't use my full power, I'm not even sure I can beat it. He looked at the corpse wolf spider. But if I unleash it, what's the difference? From revealing to everyone that I have more than one profession. This could attract even more attention from the gods. The corpse wolf. Spider knocked down everyone. In an instant. It's already taken down the whole group of kids. Bai Yi looked at Miss Huang, who was lying motionless on the ground. This monster's attacks have a paralyzing effect. Miss Huang's wound wouldn't stop bleeding. She looked at the giant corpse wolf spider, then at the paralyzed children lying on the ground. What do I do? Suddenly, the corpse wolf spider looked towards Qi Yin. Its eyes glowed brightly. Delicious, delicious nutrients. Qi Yin's eyes widened in absolute terror. The corpse wolf spider approached Qi Yin. Its bloodshot eyes widened with hunger. Miss Huang spoke with a trembling voice. You are not allowed to touch my students. Drool dripped from the corpse wolf spider's mouth. It was surprised. Oh! It left Qi Yin and went straight for Miss Huang. It opened its giant mouth. Starting with you. It lowered its head, preparing to devour Miss Huang. Suddenly, the monster became extremely panicked. It struggled and roared in pain. Then a person suddenly appeared in front of Miss Huang. Around his body was a faint blue layer of energy. She was shocked and horrified. Miss Huang, covered in blood, clutched her stomach with one hand, looking at the person before her. Bai Yi. She also swallowed hard in her throat. He used his hands to hold back the monster, which was in a berserk state. Bai Yi unleashed a move, slicing off pieces of its body. The monster's eyes widened, radiating a menacing aura. He stood protectively in front of her with his sword. Bai Yi analyzed a C-rank warrior's attack power. Is still a bit lacking against it. System switched to Cloud System Mage. He frowned. I'll just have to control it first. And then Bai Yi charged forward to attack as his weapon transformed. Info panel Bone-Chilling Ice Storm control skill. Unleashes a barrage of ice stones that freeze everything in sight. Instantly, the monster was frozen by his power. Everyone around couldn't help but stare at Bai Yi. Dudo covered her mouth and gasped. I can't believe that kid froze a B-rank monster, Xiaowen added. Isn't he a core system warrior? Chen Manyuan pointed in fear. Could he be a dual-class user? Bai Yi mused. Even if I'm exposed, I have no choice. I can't just watch them get into trouble here. Miss Huang called out worriedly. Bai Yi, are you okay? Suddenly cracks appeared on the ice. A loud sound erupted. The monster, sealed inside, was glaring at him angrily. You wait, this isn't over. And then a terrifying event occurred. As it struggled with all its might, the ceiling ice finally shattered into tiny pieces. Everyone started to panic and scream. It's gone, is it dead? Bai Yi cut in, it's not over yet. I just injured it, it's temporarily hiding. It might reappear, but with my current strength I can't kill it. We should retreat right now. She instructed, you kids go first. I still have to stay here. Qi Yin asked, why? Miss Huang's voice made him feel helpless. Zilang isn't here yet. However many students I brought out, I have to bring. The same number of students back. We agreed to meet here at 8 o'clock. If he arrives and doesn't see anyone, Bai Yi held up the item. He concluded, he's the one who released this monster.